Our Sunday night game of the week from Fenway. Derek Jeter and the Yanks taking on Nomar Garciaparra and the Red Sox. It's Saberhagen against El Duque. John Miller and Joe Morgan have the call. Enjoy the game, everybody.
ESPN, celebrating our 10th season as your home for Major League Baseball.
The Yankees and the Red Sox, one of sports' oldest, most heated rivalries. Two teams which have produced many of the game's greatest stars. A tradition rich with memorable moments. But for all their shared tradition, the two franchises could not be further apart in their journeys through history. For Boston, 80 years have come and gone without a World Series banner. Many blame it on the curse, and it is hard to overlook. 4 times the Red Sox have been 1 game away from a World Championship, and 4 times they have failed. The Yankees are baseball's most decorated franchise. 24 World Championships, their success unmatched, their swagger detested by their ancient rivals. In its 97th year, the two old foes are in familiar places. The Yanks leading the East. The Red Sox, once shadowing the Yankees, now in a battle more for the wild card. But no matter the records, no matter how many games separating the two, there is still the rivalry. Boston and New York, the Yankees and the Red Sox. And there it is, Fenway Park, which opened all the way back in 1912 in Boston's Back Bay. Tonight, Sunday Night Baseball, the Yanks and the Red Sox. And inside Fenway, the big crowd is gathering. There are many Red Sox fans, as you would expect here, but also many Yankees fans as well, for the renewal of the rivalry. And they are up there in the standings as well. The Yankees have been hot atop the American League East. The Blue Jays in second, and the Blue Jays also a game ahead of the Red Sox in the American League wild card race. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. This is the rubber match of this 3-game series, and the Yankees come in very hot, and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, is their pitcher. He's their biggest winner. He's won 12 games this year. El Duque is 3-0 in his career against the Boston Red Sox with a 1.65 ERA. Bad news for the Sox and for Nomar Garciaparra, their big star. And Joe, Red Sox going up against El Duque. It has not worked for them well in the past.
Well, John, one of the reasons is that the 2 things that a hitter wants to do. He wants to pick up the ball very quickly from the pitcher's hand. Then he wants to be able to judge the speed as it approaches the plate. Now, Hernandez causes you a problem in both perspectives. First and foremost, he hides the ball really well with his high leg kick, so you can't pick up the ball very quickly. He throws from a lot of different angles, so it's tough to pick up the speed or even the spin of the ball as it approaches the plate. So he has a great advantage in that respect.
All right, so the Sox will have their work cut out for them. For Boston, Bret Saberhagen goes. The veteran won 15 games for them last year, but he's had a couple of stints on the disabled list this year. He'll have to figure something out to go up against Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, and that whole group of Yankee hitters.
Well, the guys you mentioned are tough because they usually get into hitters' counts. They take a lot of pitches. They get the pitcher behind, 2 balls, 1 strike, 3-1, 1-0. Well, Saberhagen has one thing going for him. He throws strikes. So if he can throw strikes today, stay ahead of the hitters, he can get them to chase some of the change-ups and off-speed pitches that he throws out of the zone. But he'll have to stay ahead because the Yankees will make him work.
All right. Should be a good one from Fenway. It'll be Bret Saberhagen and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. It's the Red Sox and the Yankees, renewing a rivalry that's almost a century old. The latest edition of Superstars set to take the stage. It's Sunday Night Baseball coming up.
Your home is your castle. A castle with cold spots direct from the South Pole. A bedroom hot enough to double as the engine room on a tramp steamer. An air so foul, it brings to mind a camel caravan. But that'll change when you call Lennox. We'll clean the air and make every room feel just the way you like it. Lennox, 6,000 dealers, over 100 years of service, one less thing to worry about. know you want to do more with your photos. Now you can on a Gateway Essential PC that includes a digital camera and the software you need to bring people closer together. All for $42 a month with an Intel Celeron processor. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
They're the kind of folks who take pride in taking care of their car, who'd rather take the time and save the money by doing a job themselves. In other words, they're the kind of people who turn to AutoZone every week. And while they come to us for the quality parts or the everyday low price, sometimes they come just for the advice. And that's okay, because at AutoZone, giving people what they need is what we're all about.
This is Propecia, a pill that might interest you. Talk to your doctor. And call 1-888-5-MERC-9 to see if you're eligible for a $10 rebate certificate. Propecia. There's no reason to wait.
Chili's technical support.
How do you eat these new Chili's lettuce wrap appetizers?
Just pick up the lettuce, add grilled Asian spiced chicken and sauce, fold and eat.
That sounds great.
Doesn't it, though?
All right, everybody. If this one doesn't get your toe tapping, check your pulse. You may be dead. Here it is, coming to you in living cola. Refreshing Pepsi Cola. From the wonderful folks who put the R in cola. I'll be signing off now, because it's my bedtime. I'll catch you on the flip side. Be there.
I like this job.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance Fuel Additives. And in part by Lennox, the heating and cooling specialist. Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
And that's Fenway Park in Boston's Back Bay. Beautiful night here. It has almost like most of the rest of the country, hot, humid weather here in Boston over the weekend, but it's kind of cooled off a little bit by game time here tonight. Joe Torre, and the world is good. His Yankee ball club has won 2 World Series the last 3 years, and they're atop the division again right now. Here's the Yankees Pepsi starting lineup. Chuck Knobloch has had a hot series, led off each of the first 2 games of the homers. At second, Derek Jeter at short, O'Neill in right, Bernie Williams in center, Tino Martinez at first, Chili Davis to DH, Jorge Posada the catcher, Shane Spencer in left, and Scott Brocious is at third base hitting ninth. And on the mound for the Red Sox, the veteran right-hander Bret Saberhagen. Saberhagen, who was 15-8 last year for the Sox, his first full year in Boston, but he's been hampered with some injury problems this year.
Well, the one thing he has, John, is he has good control. As you can see, only the 8 bases on balls in 77 innings. He has a good changeup and a good curveball. If he can get ahead of these hitters, he can get some help getting them to chase pitches out of the strike zone.
And that is in there, 0-1.
And notice the location, perfect pitch. Fastball over the outside corner, and he's going to be very careful with Knobloch because, as you mentioned, he's led off the last 2 games with home runs in the first inning.
Knobloch has 8 home runs all told this year. Check swing and a foul. 0-2. Friday night in the first game of the series, he started it off against Mark Portugal this way. Over the wall and up into the screen. And then yesterday, he did it again in the first inning against Brian Rose. So be careful with Chuck Knobloch. He's doing his Ricky Henderson thing.
Yeah, and so far, Saberhagen was tough. Away and then back in.
In there, hit very softly. And Saberhagen covering in time. Interesting throw there by Daubach, but he got it there.
And the fact that he was out in front of the hitter made it easy. And let's take a look at the defense. Jose Offerman back in the lineup. He was benched for defensive problems, even though he had started the decline hitting. He had struggled a lot hitting lately, but his defense was even worse. He has 10 errors so far this season, but he's back in the lineup tonight. There's Jose Offerman. He and Knobloch between them have made 28 errors at second base.
That's not very good.
No, man. I mean, that's a lot of errors for a second baseman, you know, because you can knock it down and still throw him out.
Derek Jeter. right field line, foul. Jeter, before the game, was in with the videotape player looking at his at-bats from yesterday. It was interesting, Joe. He actually was going over a pitch that he did not swing at, trying to really get into the minutia of his stance and his approach, because he says he's been kind of flying open a little bit lately, trying to pull everything. Back foul.
John, I've heard all these theories because, you know, he's hitting so well that he's more patient now. These first two pitches do not indicate that, and I've watched him. He's still very aggressive, because I think that's what makes him a good hitter. He's very aggressive. He swings at a lot of bad balls, as he's done here. These first two pitches, both of them were out of the strike zone, but he's very aggressive. That's the way he goes about his business.
He's just lately been overly aggressive on that inside pitch.
Okay.
Saberhagen looks pretty quick tonight.
Well, he's got a good fastball. He said he's been able to get the fastball up around 90 miles an hour. And if you can do that with his control, I mean, that's really a plus.
Got him 91, 92 so far early on. Paul O'Neill on deck. 1-2 the count to Jeter. Oh, nice pitch on the outside. And Jeter discusses that call with plate umpire Lazaro Diaz.
Well, you see what he did there. He went away with a fastball, back in with a fastball. Jeter fouled it off, back in with another fastball to keep him off the outside corner. Now he hits the outside corner with a perfect pitch right on the outside corner. Beautiful pitch. And you see Jeter went out there, but he thought it might have been off the plate outside. And you see him kind of a little sheepish grin. He's saying, I don't think it was a strike.
Jason Varitek, the Red Sox catcher, kind enough to agree to wear a mask cam tonight at Fenway for the benefit of our viewers. Here is Paul O'Neill. 92-mile-an-hour heater blew it by him, and it is 0-1.
And he has started each and every hitter off with a strike.
Is Varitek with mask cam tonight. And he has seen his colleague Bret Saberhagen throw 8 pitches so far, 7 of them strikes. Although Derek Jeter apparently would disagree with that. On one of them anyway. That's up and in for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Paul O'Neill hitting .291, which is unusually low for him, at least since becoming a Yankee. I mean, every year that he's been in New York, he's finished the year over 300. 2 down, nobody out. Hits that one hard into left center field, and that one goes to the wall. The count played by Buford. Here comes the throw. Not in time. A double for Paul O'Neill, his 26th double of the year.
And John, I don't think you get a better view of a hitter doing what he's supposed to do than we saw right there, you know, using mask cam. I mean, the pitch is almost a perfect pitch on the outside corner. Watch where this pitch is, right on the outside corner. And what does he do with it? He stays there. Watch his head. Look at that. His head stays right there. He doesn't try to pull the ball. He hits it exactly where it was pitched, out over the plate. He hit it back through the middle for a base hit. That's just good hitting there by Paul O'Neill.
So a 2 down, O'Neill at second, and here is Bernie Williams. Bernie, the switch hitter, hitting .338, 15 homers and 63 runs driven in. The Yankees have the league's leading hitter, Derek Jeter, and Bernie Williams is 5th in the league in batting. That is a strike on the inside. Had a little movement on that fastball.
Yeah, well, Bernie's upset because he thought the ball was inside, and it did start inside, but the ball moved back toward the inside corner. And that was some late movement on that pitch. Too high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, in each of the last 4 years, excluding this one, both Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill have hit over 300. And they're the only pair of American League teammates since World War II who've put together a 4-year streak like that. So it's pretty unusual. Curveball is whacked to the deepest part of the ballpark. That's going to be extra bases. Bernie Williams heading for third as O'Neill scores, and Bernie will make it easily without a throw. A triple. 1-0 Yankees. And that's a great example of the Yankees right there. I mean, great pitch by Saberhagen to O'Neill. He gets a double. He hangs a curveball here to Bernie Williams, and he hits a triple. I mean, they make you play, you make good pitches, they still get some base hits. And anytime you make a poor pitch, look at that. That's a curveball that hangs right in the middle of the plate. Watch this. Belt high, middle of the plate. You can hit that pitch. Most big league hitters are going to hit that ball hard, and Bernie hits it real hard in the right center field and gets the Yankees their first run, and the triple. He's at third with 2 outs.
That's the known as the triangle here at Fenway Park, because the center field wall meets the bullpen wall out there at the 420 marker. Deepest dimension in the ballpark. Tino Martinez, and that is called strike 1. 0-1 the count. Bernie Williams at third. There it is. And makes a triangle shape out there. To dead straightaway center, it's 390 feet, but a little off to the right of straightaway, it keeps going out, and it's 420 feet to that spot. And there for a strike. 0-2 the count. Well, Saberhagen has been struggling since the last time he came back from injury. And Joey is honest about saying that he's had a hard time with that curveball.
Well, the one he threw to Bernie Williams is just a roller, and I mean, you can't do that to a good hitter like Bernie Williams. Some other hitter may foul it back or foul it off, but the good hitters, the 320, 330 hitters, they're going to put that ball in play and put it in play very hard.
And there are not too many hitters in the Yankee batting order that you would not classify as good hitters.
Right.
Tino Martinez at the plate, 14 homers, 62 batted in. And Chili Davis would be next. Off the fists, a bloop. Offerman, and that ends the inning. But the Yanks get a 2-out rally to go ahead 1-0. Orlando Hernandez takes the hill.
Think something that small can't hurt your car? Even smaller carbon deposits can clog your car's fuel injectors. So use Gum Out Extra Fuel Injector Cleaner to get rid of deposits for smoother overall performance. And did I mention better acceleration?
Drive your fuel injectors clean with Gum Out Extra.
Change is taking place all over America. Big change. Because now you can call anyone across America for just 8 cents a minute on calls over 10 minutes. All day, every day. Just dial 1010-321, and you can talk as long as you want to the people you care about the most. You don't have to sign up. Just dial 1010-321, then 1 and the number. It's that simple. 8 cents a minute on calls over 10 minutes, day or night with 1010-321.
Probably you remember some of my home runs of the last season.
Today, I would like to invite you to my real home, the Dominican Republic. Now, it's your turn to swing the bat and hit the home run for the most memorable vacation of your life. Come to the Dominican Republic. All Americans are welcome.
The Dominican Republic. Come, share our treasures.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Fenway Park. And there's that beautiful jewel of a ballpark in Boston's Back Bay. Here's the Pepsi Red Sox batting order. Jose Offerman at second base. John Valentin, third base. He had the game-winning hit here yesterday. Daubach is at first base. Garcia Parra, shortstop, hitting cleanup. He's having a great year, second in the league in batting average. Troy O'Leary, left field. Reggie Jefferson, the designated hitter. Jason Varitek, the catcher. Damon Buford, Don's son, whom we saw 2 weeks ago, center field. And rookie Trot Nixon, who's been extraordinarily hot here of late. A 393 average so far. Well, so far. July's over from what I heard. 393 in July. And tonight he'll try and solve the mysteries of El Duque. Orlando Hernandez, 3-0 with a 1.65 ERA against the Red Sox.
Well, John, it's hard to say what pitches he throws because they become different pitches. He throws a two-seam fastball. He throws a sinking fastball, a riding fastball. Throws a slider, a change, a curveball, a lot of different pitches. But when he throws them from so many different angles, that changes the pitch. So he has a lot of pitches to work with, and he hides the ball very well. I think that's the key. It's very difficult to pick the ball up out of all the motion he gives you.
Now Duque, who was 12-4 as a rookie last year with the Yankees. And he's got 12 wins this year to lead the staff. He's 12-6. Jose Offerman. And that is ball one. I was going to say something else. But I would have been incorrect, as it turns out. 1 ball to no strikes. 2 balls and no strikes. Now, Offerman's trying to get himself back together. He had a great start to his season, as did the Red Sox. And then, in the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's just come tumbling down around him. Offerman, as of June the 4th, was hitting .327. The Red Sox were leading the Yankees by a game and a half in the standings at that time. Since then, the Sox are 23 and 27, and Offerman's hitting only .213 since then.
Well, Offerman was softening the blow of with the loss of Mo Vaughn. He was picking up the slack. He was, playing very well, hitting well, but it's kind of caught up with him, and they're just not swinging the bats well now.
And he's been taken out of the lineup because the combination of the weak hitting and poor defense were too much for Jimmy Williams, his manager, to bear.
And let's take a look at the defense behind El Duque. Derek Jeter is the star of this ball club now, and a fine defensive shortstop. I mean, he makes a lot of great plays. And the play that he made yesterday, watch this. I mean, this is a game-saving play for a while anyway. They lost anyway, but look at that play. Bases loaded, no one out. And he saves 2 runs and retires the hitter.
Derek Jeter. We got 2 of the very best in the business manning that position here tonight on the same field. Jeter of the Yankees, Garcia-Parra of the Red Sox, and each is the big star on his team. And that foul tip by John Valentin.
And I think if there is a little difference between the two, I think Jeter's a little more sound defensively at this point than Garcia-Parra is.
John Valentin at the plate. He, of course, used to be the Boston shortstop, and as such, he was one of the best hitting shortstops in the majors. But he eventually made room for Garcia-Parra. And right now, we've got, at the same time in the American League, 3 of the best hitting shortstops, not just in this era, but in any era, at least to have 3 at the same time hitting the way Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, and Nomar Garcia-Parra have hit, and play the field and do everything.
Right. They're very sound. They're just very good players.
Almost.
And they're going to get better.
Almost good enough to have played alongside you, Joe.
I would have been happy to play alongside either one of them, but they're going to get better. I mean, Jeter gets better every year, and so does Garcia-Parra.
1 ball, 1 strike. I am surprised to find your picture is displayed right here in Fenway Park. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Valentin. Now back out of play.
I was surprised as well, John.
They had that great ceremony just before the All-Star game, and all of the 100 greatest players of the 20th century, and what were there, 31 of you, the greatest living players who were here that night, have your pictures displayed up on the rooftop here at Fenway.
And it's an honor for me to be next to Jackie Robinson, and between Jackie Robinson and Rogers Hornsby. That's a pretty good duo.
Good company.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Curveball. And Valentin just kind of waved at it, hoping to fight it off. He is now 0 for 11 in his career against El Duque.
And watch this. You can see he hides the ball for so long, and now here comes a pitch. You usually look off of a guy's right shoulder. You can't do that with El Duque. You have to find his arm. And you can see he just fools Valentin completely. That's what I was talking about. You have to be able to pick up the speed or the spin on the ball. And with El Duque, it's very difficult to do. As a hitter, you want to pick the ball up very quickly out of his hand, and then you want to try to recognize the pitch on the way. And he hides the ball well, and he gives you so many angles, it's tough to gauge the speed.
Here's Brian Daubach. And if you've not been following the Red Sox closely this year, this could well be a new name for you. But he is hitting .307. And in only 231 at-bats, he's got 12 homers and 21 doubles. So Brian Daubach hitting 3rd for the Red Sox. On the other hand, he's hit well enough to legitimately be in that spot in the after Mo Vaughn era of the Sox. Daubach with the Florida Marlins last year. He is 27 years old. Originally was selected by the New York Mets in the 1990 June free agent draft. Never got to the big leagues with the Mets. Had 15 at-bats last year with Florida, his only previous major league experience. Garcia-Parra on deck. Yanks lead 1-0 in the first. 2-0.
Jose Osment has 13 stolen bases. He's been caught 9 times. Not a very good percentage. But I think if you're the Red Sox and you get on base against a guy like El Duque, you have to cause him some problems. Go ahead and run. Do some things. Otherwise, you let him get in the groove doing his thing, and he'll be the star out there.
Popped up. Shallow center. Bernie Williams is there. And that is out number 2. 2 down in the first inning. And there's the view from high overhead from the Gum Out aerial cam. Glad to have them with us here tonight in Boston, because we may not be able to enjoy this ballpark much longer. There are plans afoot here in Boston for a new Fenway Park across the street from the old one. Here is Nomar Garcia-Parra. Nomar is a very busy man when he gets into the batter's box, and he's got a million details he tends to take care of. Second in the league in hitting. The detail he'd most like to take care of here is getting Offerman home. That is a fair ball, and Garcia-Parra is tagged out by Posada. Just like that, the Red Sox are gone. A leadoff walk and then nothing. 1-0 Yankees. Chili Davis coming up.
There's a better way to toast a sub. Quiznos oven-baked classics.
I don't know if I can do this. It's easy. You just sneak up and push them. They tip right over. Right over? Yeah, I've done it 1,000 times. All right.
Need a new grill? During Napa's Sizzlin' Summer Sweepstakes, you can win a classic barrel grill from any of over 6,000 participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Plus, save on hundreds of items. Stop by today.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Just like your cheap brother-in-law at one of those all-you-can-eats. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
When was the last time you drove just for the fun of it? Why doesn't somebody bring that back? Meet the new Chevy Impala. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
To conquer the Brickyard, you need nerves of steel.
You need a will of iron. And you need a foot of pure lead. The Brickyard 400, live from Indianapolis, presented by Miller Lite.
Quiznos Mediterranean Chicken Sub. Sun-dried tomato pesto, feta cheese, grilled chicken, and honey French dressing on Quiznos' new Basil Parmesan bread. Try one and get a loaf of bread for just 99 cents more, which isn't much dough. Sorry.
Is that your posse, John? Let's take a look at this last pitch to Garcia-Parra. Now watch, he hides the ball. Now watch Garcia-Parra. The ball's almost in the glove. Look at that. It's almost in the glove before he swings. And he actually hits the ball down behind home plate, and the ball bounces out in front. That's what we're talking about when we say he hides the ball so long, and it takes the hitter a long time to pick up the speed or the spin on the ball. That was a great example there. When you hit the ball behind the plate, and it's, you know, and it bounces in fair territory.
You don't often see Garcia-Parra on his first swing, especially. The swing that looked as bad as that one, or that as late as that one. Chili Davis, the hitter. After first trying that curveball, and again it was a poorly thrown one, Saberhagen throws a good changeup, and it is a swinging strike one. Chili Davis, 14 homers and 60 runs batted in. And Joe, when the season began, the Yankees had so many hitters other than Derek Jeter who were struggling. Chili Davis really kind of saved them.
Well, I think he was going to be the reason that I thought they would be as good as they were last year, because they didn't have him last year, and he was going to be there the whole year. And there's no doubt, without him, I think they would have struggled a lot the first half of the season, because even with him, they were like 25 and 20. But he was the guy at the early part of the season, he and Jeter.
Chili Davis been around a long, long while, and that's back out of play. Chili, a switch hitter, and he's moving up on a lot of those switch hitting lists now. He'll join the ranks of being one of the very best switch hitters to ever play the game. Of course, you've got to be a pretty good player just to last that long. 2-2. Fastball, blew it past him.
Well, that changeup, the one pitch in that entire sequence, set all that up. He was late on the last two fastballs because he was so early on the changeup. He didn't want to be fooled with the changeup again. So what does Saberhagen do? He throws two fastballs by him. Watch how late he is on this. Look at that. Ball's in the glove because he had to wait a little longer because of that changeup. So I think the changeup may be the key pitch for him tonight rather than the curveball, because he doesn't seem to have as good a command of the curveball as he does the changeup.
Well, he gave up a run and throwing a hanging curve on the triple hit by Bernie Williams. He hung one well up out the strike zone here to Chili Davis. He's starting the head back. There's a good one, as I'm talking about it.
A good one.
Comes right back with one, yeah.
Yeah.
One down. Jorge Posada, the hitter. Jorge, who was one of those guys who was off to such a slow start. He's been coming around lately, up to 243. And he's got some power, 10 home runs. One ball, one strike. That first one was a strike.
Yes.
We have it. The scoreboard at Fenway had it at 2 balls, 2 strikes. They didn't agree, apparently.
They're the two guys who have taken themselves to the level. And you see Derek Jeter saying that ball was that far outside at his first at bat.
Right back to Saberhagen. So the change up.
Yeah.
Gets the comebacker. 2 down. And Shane Spencer will come up. Posada been a hot hitter lately, too. 11 in it for his last 20. Fenway Park. And later on, we'll show you some artists' renderings and a computer graphic display what the new Fenway is going to look like. They are going to keep or the proposal anyways, to keep the big wall, the most dominant feature of Fenway Park, in place and make it sort of a park and part of the vicinity for the new ballpark. Here's Shane Spencer. It's 2 down, nobody on. It'll be kind of sad to see the old ballpark go. On the outside corner with a fastball, it is 0-1.
John, last year when Shane Spencer was so hot hitting all the home runs, in the playoffs, the only pitch I saw that bothered him was the straight changeup. And when they started throwing him that, he started having problems with the fastball because he was waiting a little longer, and now the fastball was on him. So that's the only pitch I saw bothering him last year when he was really swinging the bat well. And we'll see how he fares today against Saberhagen's changeup.
Yanks have been going with Shane Spencer, Ricky Leday, and Chad Curtis. And that one is shot foul. He doesn't seem to have much trouble with the hanging curveball.
Right. No, he didn't have any trouble with the curveballs last year. It was the only pitch I said is it was a changeup he would have problems with every once in a while. But that was another hanger from Bret. And the real reason it's hanging, John, is I don't think he's getting a tight spin on it. It just seems to roll a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on. Yanks started a first inning rally with 2 down and nobody on. Got a run, a double by O'Neill, a triple by Bernie Williams. Scott Brocious on deck. He would be next. Back to that fastball. That one just kind of took off. Fouled back to the screen.
Well, he has a good fastball tonight. I mean, he has a good fastball, good changeup. He's still trying to find his curveball. And knowing him as I do, and as good a pitcher as he will continue to try to find the curveball. But the one thing you can do is that you can throw the slow curveball the first pitch, and you can kind of steal a strike every once in a while. And there's the long foul ball by Shane Spencer down the left field line.
And that hanging curve just off the outside. 2-2. Saberhagen, the Red Sox pitching coach, looking on. High and fouled on the right field line. And this one is back out of play as Trot Nixon gave chase along with Offerman from second base and Daubach from first base. 2-2 the count. The Daubach coming back into first. Fenway's been jam-packed with people all through the weekend, as you expect when the Yankees are in town. And the Red Sox, I'm sure, Joe, following your idea of how you should look at it if you're a team in their position. They still have visions of competing with the Yankees for first place. 6.5 behind them. Start of the night. Right out to center field to Buford. That's the inning. 3 up and 3 down. Troy O'Leary will be coming up. Yanks 1, Red Sox nothing.
You put thousands of dollars into that truck, van, or sport utility. Protect your investment with extras from a real truck accessory store, Yankee Custom Caps and Accessories. Come see our store displays, choose from our huge inventory, and work with our experienced, knowledgeable salespeople. At Yankee Custom, we give your vehicle the look you want, and we install what we sell. Stop by one of our convenient locations today.
If you're in business, you're ready for Nextel's digital cellular phone. All of Nextel's Motorola phones include Nextel Direct Connect, digital two-way radio feature, text numeric paging, and voicemail. Plus, you'll never pay a cent in roaming charges. The Nextel i1000 even has a built-in speakerphone. So if you want to get down to business, check out Nextel at Edwin L. Thompson & Son in Chelmsford, a Nextel authorized representative. Call us at 978-251-1420.
If you're watching this commercial, you're just minutes away from the largest selection of used Blazers, Jimmys, Bravadas, Yukons, Tahoes, and Suburbans at Chevrolet of Lowell. An SUV is the perfect vehicle for an active lifestyle. And Chevrolet of Lowell always has 80 GM pre-owned and program SUVs in stock with prices starting as low as $13,995. If a new sport utility has been out of your reach, call, come by, or visit our website to see the largest selection of used SUVs in New England and save. Truckloads are arriving daily. At Chevrolet of Lowell, we have the SUV for you.
Every game. It says 259 TPN. It's my old address at college. My best friends live there, and it's respect to them because they come to every game. I'm Mike Pecky. Have you seen me?
See him Saturday at 8 on ESPN.
Dave Revson in our Sunday Night Baseball studios. Gum Out takes us to Skydome. Bottom of the 7th, tied at 3, Tigers and Jays. Sean Green looking to extend his hitting streak to 29 games. The fly ball to right brings home Homer Bush with the go-ahead run. RBI number 83 for Green, but he was 0 for 4, fails to extend the hit streak. Jays to win it 8-5. Now back to Fenway.
All right, Bill, thanks. And here on Sunday Night Baseball, the Yanks lead the Red Sox 1-0. It's ironic the Yanks, who are ahead of the Blue Jays, in a way could be doing the Jays
for the Red Sox.
If they beat the Red Sox.
Number 25.
See the wild card standings. The Blue Jays are leading the American League in the wild card race. Red Sox and Athletics behind. The Athletics won again today. They swept Tampa Bay at the Coliseum, and they certainly have fortified themselves.
And John, they have the best home record in the league. I mean, they're amazing at the Coliseum. It's a good pitcher's ballpark, and they do a good job there.
The Athletics, with that win today, are 34-16 at home. That curveball is too high to Troy O'Leary. O'Leary, 283 average, 19 homers to lead the Red Sox. He has 63 runs batted in. I love to watch O'Leary. I mean, the way he kicks that leg up, it looks like he almost hits himself in the chin with his knee.
Well, he reminds you of Marichal, except Marichal had a higher kick with his foot, but they're similar in that that's how they hide the ball from the hitter. And you have to be quite an athlete to be able to do that, John, to stretch your knee or your foot up that high.
Oh, no, I can do that.
With a lot of help.
Yeah. Be on the DL for a few weeks afterward. That's a 4-pitch walk to Troy O'Leary. The second inning in a row, he started off with a walk.
John, let's show you why El Duque is so tough on the hitter. let's take a look. He's going to throw one from here, the second one will be here, and the third one will be here. Now watch carefully because they're all in different spots. Now this is how he hides the ball from the hitter. Look at this. Look at this. You can't even find the ball any place. All you see is back. Now he releases the ball, and you don't know where it's coming from. That's the one over the top. Here's the sidearm. Now this is the toughest one, 3/4 slider. Look at that. Right out of there. No chance for Valentin. That's why he's so tough to hit.
Jefferson right back to Duque. Second for one, back to first. Double play. Well, Jefferson was not up there very long. 1 to 6 to 3, double play, 2 down, nobody out.
Well, it was a good play by Duque. It shows you that he's a very good athlete because he did not gain his balance. He didn't take a crow hopper, start toward second base. Now watch, he just grabs the ball, and it looks like he's off balance. But he gets the ball, now he throws it to the bag. So he's not throwing it to the fielder. He throws to the bag, and it's up to Jeter to get there. He does his job. Now watch, right to the bag. Jeter's not there yet. Good play there by Hernandez.
That is a great shot of how that's supposed to be done.
How it's supposed to be done, exactly. And you see so many times a guy grabs the ball, he looks for the fielder instead of looking for the base. Now he tries to time the fielder and hit the fielder on the move. No, throw the ball to the bag, and it's up to the fielder to get there.
Jason Varitek, the hitter. Broken bat. Knobloch. And he'll underhanded. That's it for the Red Sox. A 7-pitch inning for Hernandez, including a walk. 1-0 Yanks.
Right now, Firestone tires are on sale. 4 for $99. Add a new 50,000-mile warranty, and people will buy them 8 at a time, maybe even 12.
The 4 for $99 sale at Firestone.
America Online makes planning your summer easier than ever.
Vacations, movies, concerts, and more.
This summer, keep in touch with email, instant messages, a buddy list. America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Sign up today.
Fool would drive anything else.
If your baby had diaper rash, the last thing you think about cleaning her with is a baby wipe. But maybe it should be the first. Pampers Rash Care Wipes with a no-sting formula. Pampers Rash Care Wipes soothe while you clean, letting skin heal naturally and making things a lot more agreeable. Pampers Rash Care Wipes. Pamper the skin they're in.
Wrangler jeans are the perfect jeans to wear when you're going out for a little seafood with your best buddy. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. Soft, comfortable Wrangler jeans are perfect when your family's going out for dinner. No matter how far out you go. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900, and by America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Yanks 1, Red Sox 0. We go to the 3rd inning from Fenway Park.
Let's take a look at the last pitch from Duque. What you try to do as a hitter, you try to find his right shoulder. That's where the ball will come from, but you can't find it. You can't find it. Now, there it is, and the ball's on top of you. Look how late it is, how close it is before he even takes a swing, and he's late on it. And that's the reason we saw Garcia Parra swing at the ball late, too. You just can't find the ball in his motion.
Scott Brocious leading it off for the Yankees, and you saw Saberhagen missed miserably with the curveball, which he is still trying to find.
And he will keep doing that, John, and I think it's okay to do it on the first pitch, because as I say, you can steal a strike from a hitter on the first pitch with a bad curveball, because in most cases they're looking for something hard. They're looking fastball, slider, and they're going to handle it. So you can steal a strike by throwing them a curveball, even if it's not a good one.
Scott Brocious, World Series hero, is the MVP of the World Series last year. On the outside corner, as you saw from Matt's cam there, As Roche is shaking his head. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the one thing that Saberhagen has always been able to do the years he's been winning the Cy Young Award, he can paint. I mean, he can paint the outside corner with his fastball. And it's almost a straight fastball, so the umpire gets a very good look at it. I think that's the key. His ball doesn't have a lot of movement when he throws it like a dart out there.
And they said pops and foul, but back out of play. 1 ball, 2. Now, when you use phrases like paint, I think you should say paint with cheese.
Okay, with cheese, you're right.
One thing he can do is he can paint with cheese.
That's exactly right. He paints with some cheese.
And that's when he was really painting with some hard cheese. 2 Cy Young Awards back in the 80s with Kansas City. That is a base hit to right field. So, Brocious is aboard. We go to the top of the order. Coming up next Sunday night, we will be at Wrigley Field, Chicago. Is this job great or what? Jeff Bagwell and the Houston Astros will be taking on the Chicago Cubs and Sammy Sosa. Sammy's got 40. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We'll look for you next Sunday. Tonight we're at Fenway Park. Next Sunday we'll be at Wrigley Field. Life is good. Life is good. I've always said to the players, John, me and you have the second best job in the world. The best job is playing. We have the next best job. Here's Chuck Daubach. He grounded out to first his first time. Brocious back to the bag. By the way, Brocious, we just saw get that base hit. He was another one of those Yankees off to a real slow start this year. He just was a revelation to them last year, his best year ever. But now he's been coming on. He's just coming off the month of July where he hit .347. And he started off the month of August with a base hit. Seems to be concerned about him running. Brocious has stolen 5 bases. What do you think? Hit and run?
Well, it's a hit and run situation. A perfect hit and run combination there. You can always send a runner with a guy like Daubach because he does normally fight the ball off the other way. And Saberhagen's going to be around the plate. He's going to throw a lot of strikes, so you don't have to worry about him being so far out of the zone. Popped up foul and back out of play onto the rooftop of Fenway. Well, I want him to send him. Nobody's been running so far tonight, Joe. You know me. I get a little antsy. Well, I do too, John. Me more than you, because I think that that's the way the game's supposed to be played. You can't wait just for the big fly all the time. And Joe Torre, that's the type of baseball that he brought to the Yankees a couple of years ago, and I think he surprised the American League a little bit, by hitting and running a lot, even bunting. And so he's the kind of manager who will make things happen. Strike to Daubach. Go! 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 And Saberhagen checks him again. I think Saberhagen heard you, and he thinks that they're going to send him. Willie Randolph, the third base coach for the Yanks, has thrown out some signs, so we'll see. I'm guessing he's got to go, Joe. Not here, though. Most managers do not like to hit and run 0-1. See, that's the reason. Yeah. Exactly. They have a free shot at you. They can either pitch out, come up and in, so if the guy is running, that the hitter has to swing at a bad pitch. You try to get him in a position where he has to throw a strike. He can't pitch out, and he can't waste a pitch inside. See, for me, I'm saying, hey, he pitched out, of course. It's like almost like a cliche move. Well, now is a perfect time. You know he's not going to pitch out 2 pitches in a row. Well, he should. Well, he will not. He's not going. That's a pop foul off to the right, back out of play. I mean, if you pitch out 1 pitch and the guy doesn't run, it seems like the next pitch you should pitch out. Well, that's true, John, but you know what happened? Set him up for it. Yeah, but psychologically, you throw a pitch, you pitch out, you say, oh, man, I made a mistake. I don't want to compound that mistake by doing it again. And secondly, the pitcher, when he throws a pitch out there and it doesn't work and you've called a pitch out, now he says it's your fault. I don't want to throw out there again, and I'm definitely not going to do it again. Well, now he can pitch out again here. No. It's 1 and 2. 1 and 2. You still see. You want to try to make it happen here. That way, you don't give them a chance to say, "Okay, I can hit and run." Daubach, very adept at making contact. Rarely strikes out. Saberhagen stepped off the slab, then threw over there. Good quick move there by Saberhagen. He did that before where he stepped off the slab, and Brocious did not even flinch. Right. He stepped off and bluffed, and Brocious did not flinch. This time he stepped off and threw. A lot of guys they'd step off, relax their hands like they're not going, just stopping the play, and they'd fire to first base. That was the best move. You just relax your hands a little bit, let them drop down, and people think, well, he's just stepping off. See, this is the pitch you want to make it happen on if you're Saberhagen. Try to get the ground ball, a sinker or something right here. Get the ground ball, maybe you can get out of the inning with the double play or get 2 outs here quickly.
Curveball. Base hit. That curveball is just not working for him so far. Brocious, who was not running on the pitch, stops at second. Well, bring up Jeter.
I think he's tried to work on his curveball enough now that he should be convinced that he doesn't have his good curveball tonight. I mean, a sinker, in my opinion, would have been the right play. Look at that. That's just a rolling pitch right in the middle of the plate. Look at that. Belt high, and it's just rolling. And with 2 strikes, the hitter's waiting a little longer anyway. That pitch becomes duck soup to a good hitter.
So Jose Cardinal whispering into the ear of Chuck Knobloch a moment ago. You saw at first base as Derek Jeter stands in. He was caught out on strikes his first time. 2 men on, nobody out. 1-0, the Yanks ahead. Popped up foul and back out of play.
And who says Jeter is patient? He swung at everything but the 3rd all strike so far in the first 2 at-bats.
And he's been a little concerned because he's been kind of pulling off the ball lately. He's in one of these trying to pull type sequences, and he says he's been swinging the pitches that have been several inches off the inside.
And you know one thing, John, it's very difficult to stay out of slumps. When you're hitting 360, it's hard. Look at that.
Off the fists, and Garcia Parra makes the catch.
See, he's swinging a lot of bad pitches. I mean, in the 2 at-bats, he has not swung at 1 good strike so far. Let's take a look at Paul O'Neill's at bat in the 1st inning on Bat Track. You can take thousands of swings during the season. You will not see a better swing than this. Watch how long his bat stays level through the hitting zone. I mean, look at that. From anywhere from there to there, if he hits that ball, he's going to hit a line drive. Normally, you have something like this as a good swing. That is a great swing when you have that much margin for error. I mean, you can go all year long and you will not find a better swing than that.
Well, I mean, in that graphic example on Backtrack when we chart a guy's swing, I think that's the closest we've had to an absolutely actual level swing ever. Yeah. Line drive left field, base hit. 1 hop to O'Leary. Stopping at 3rd is Brocious, and the Yankees have the bases loaded, and Bernie Williams coming up. O'Neill is 2 for 2.
Let's take a look at this swing. This pitch was a little different. He tried to fool him by coming back at him with a fastball. And look at that. Not as level as the last one, but pretty darn level, John. I mean, he is swinging the bat very well. He sees the ball well from Saberhagen, obviously. When you see the ball well, it's the reason that you can make swings like that. You don't have to rush yourself because you're picking up the ball very quickly.
So now Bernie Williams. And there was a time during the winter when Bernie was a free agent that many thought he was going to sign with the Red Sox, maybe the Red Sox included. But at about the time those stories grew the loudest, it was about the time that the Yankees acted and made Bernie the offer that he was looking for, and he re-upped with New York, a product of their farm system. And the Yankees have a lot of impact, major star players who came out of their own farm system. Bernie Williams is one.
And you see what he does? He goes right back inside, and that's what he should have stayed with in the 1st at-bat. Bernie chases that pitch inside because I think he was looking for the ball inside. Sometimes as a hitter, you know they're going to pitch you inside. You kind of bail a little bit. And remember, Bernie has a sore left shoulder. Right in there is where you want to go. And you see that he walked around a little bit after that swing. I think his shoulder bothered him a little bit there. But if you're Saberhagen, you should stay in tight on him, only show him something away.
Bernie tripled into the triangle to drive in the Yankees' run his first time. This time he laid off. 1 ball and 1 strike. 3 men on with Brocious, Knobloch, and Jeter on the bases for New York, all having singled.
But you can see that he definitely set up back inside again. Veritek and Saberhagen say they're going to stay in tight. I think you only go away to show him something, to keep him off balance, but you got to stay in tight on him, right in there.
And O'Neill at first rather than Jeter. That fly ball appears to be hit deep enough to get a run home. Brocious tags up from 3rd, and he'll come in to score as Buford throws in toward 3rd. 2-0 Yanks.
Well, that's a good job by Williams. No matter what, you just want to get the runner in. You make sure you get a fastball in, He can't get to it. Another one in, and he goes in again. This one's a little bit more out over the plate, and he was able to get enough wood on it to get the ball deep enough to drive in the run. So good job there by Vernon Williams. Good job also by Saberhagen.
2-0 Yanks, and here is Tino Martinez now to try and turn this rally into something significant. The Red Sox will consider themselves lucky if the Yanks get just the one. Knobloch at second, O'Neill at first. Tino popped out to second his first time. Change up. 0-1, a foul ball.
Well, that's the cat and mouse game that the pitchers and the hitters have to play. The first time up, he jammed Martinez with a fastball in, so he figures Martinez is looking fastball in, so he throws him a changeup away. And the reason for that is because you're looking fastball in, it means you're going to turn quickly and try to get the fastball and pull it. So that makes you vulnerable to the changeup.
It's a fastball for a called strike in his 0-2.
Right back inside. That's where he wants to get Martinez out, and I think you'll see he wants to get Williams out that way too. These left-handers have had trouble with his fastball. See, that's just like a dart. It doesn't seem to move a lot, but it's right there on the corner. And again, it gives the umpire perfect view because it's almost straight.
Off the outside. This is the 14th batter of the game for the Yankees. And Saberhagen has started 12 of the 14 with strikes on the first pitch. He'll throw strikes. He's been one of the great control pitchers in the history of the game. And the pop-up foul. Red Sox, half the team goes after it. There's and among the spectators out there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Saberhagen, as we see the folks up on the rooftop. Saberhagen has averaged 1.68 walks per 9 innings in his career. So I'm being very precise about this, Joe, because of all Major League pitchers who made their debut any time in the last 75 years, that is the best walk ratio of any of them. He's ahead of Juan Marichal, Carl Hubbell, Robin Roberts,
Ferguson Jenkins, I bet.
Yeah. Fergie doesn't even make the short list.
Oh, man.
And Saberhagen's ahead of all of them. And that changeup is too low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This year, he's walked 8 in 79 and 2/3 innings. I mean, that's less than 1 walk per 9 innings. That's ridiculous. Catfish Hunter was a guy who always was around the strike zone.
Saberhagen had 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's right. That changeup was a way that tells you that he wants to go back inside with a fastball because that's the pitch that he wanted to get him out with.
That's what he does, and Tino pops it up foul. This, too, will go back out of play.
I mean, good pitchers and smart pitchers, you can just about tell what they're going to do if you're studying, watch what they, how they're pitching the other hitters. Now they're going to talk about it because he's saying, well, I know I can get him out inside, but if I move that ball 6 inches out over the plate, he may wrap it around, was that Pesky's pole down there?
Johnny Pesky's pole in the right field corner, only 302 feet from home plate. There it is. I mean, that's the old joke that the only time Pesky could ever hit a home run is when the wind was blowing out in that direction, and he'd hit one right toward the foul pole. It was so shallow. He'd get blown into the stands. Pesky was a great hitter who every year seemed to get 200 or more hits, but just not many of them were ever home runs.
Well, Martinez has spoiled what Saberhagen wants to do.
2-2. Goes out with it, pops it up. Balancing. It's a little wind blowing here tonight. It blew that one back into fair ground, and he grabs it for the out. So the Yankees get just the one. 2-0 New York after 2.5.
2 words, hot stock, perfect for us. You get a sexy portfolio that'll make you rich. Me, a small commission. Trust me, I'm only here to make you money.
Before you go here, go here. Whether you're tracking your own stocks or the market, at go.com, you're in charge.
Walk over there and I'll take a picture of you.
The incredible power of Duracell Ultra.
That's lovely, Julie. That's lovely. Wait a minute. By the statue.
Cameras get faster flashes. Up to 100 more pictures.
That's it. Lovely. Let yourself go.
Duracell Ultra, with a concentrated power force to give more life to your high-tech devices.
Oh, yes. Work it. Work it.
Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
The Hertz Easy Access Bus. It's lower, easier to get on, and roomier. There's not exactly anything like it. And that's something to celebrate. Hertz Freedom rates for AAA members, only $26.99 a day in the U.S.
Guys, come and see my castle.
With the freedom to pick up and drop off anytime. Just keep it over a Saturday night. Hertz will provide the great rates.
What castle?
The rest is up to you.
On any road, in any kind of weather, you can find yourself out of luck with a flat tire. But not with this tire. Even with no air pressure, you keep driving to safety. Goodyear Aqua Steel Run Flat. It could be the difference between finding yourself out of luck or finding the safe way home. Aqua Steel Run Flat, only from Goodyear.
This is Propecia. Call 1-888-5-MERC-8 for more information and ask your doctor if Propecia is right for you. Propecia. What are you waiting for?
This is the sale of the century. Nobody works the numbers like me. Honest, Bob. Tax, license, wheels not included. Heck, nothing's included. Come on down and spend your hard-earned cash today.
Before you go here, go here. Whether you're comparing prices or options, at go.com, you're in the driver's seat.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out tonight from Fenway Park. The renewal of the ancient rivalry, the Yankees and the Red Sox. The American League was born in 1901. Red Sox were a charter member. The Yankees actually were born as the Baltimore Orioles.
Right.
Which sounds ridiculous.
It does.
After a couple of years, they moved up to New York, became the New York Highlanders.
Yeah, I remember that.
And eventually the Yankees. And of course, it wasn't until they made a trade for a guy named Babe Ruth, acquired from Boston, that the Yankees became the Yankees. Up until that time, the Red Sox were the premier team in the American League. The team that was always going to the World Series, always had the superstars, the Hall of Famers. 2-1 the count to Damon Buford facing Orlando Hernandez. Buford, then Trot Nixon and Jose Offerman. 2-1 the count. Hernandez back out of play. 2-2 Buford in his second year with the Red Sox, hitting .249. Red Sox have put together an interesting collection of players, making them very much unlike the traditional Red Sox club. Not a bunch of sluggers,
right,
but much better defense, more speed than they've had in the past. That's a fair ball. Then it ricochets off that railing right behind third, but still a double for Damon Buford.
Well, I tell you what, Brocious is looking at Posada to see if that ball was fair. He didn't think it was fair, but Posada didn't give him any sign, so maybe it was fair. This is an interesting pitch. Watch, he drops down, but instead of getting the ball away from Buford, he chases him and he pulls it down the line. And remember, it doesn't have to hit in fair territory behind the bag. It just has to go over the bag in fair territory.
Ryan O'Nora there to make the call. A double for Buford, his 11th of the year. And here is Trot Nixon. And Trot Nixon, another young Red Sox player who's got a lot of power, has homered in this series and hit 3 homers in a game not so long ago. 1-1 the count. Nixon on well, it was just 8 days ago, had 3 homers in a game at Tiger Stadium. First Red Sox rookie to hit 3 homers in the same game since a guy named Fred Lynn at Tiger Stadium in 1975. The great summers in Red Sox history. They had 2 great rookies that year. Fred Lynn was one, and a guy named Jim Rice was the other.
And they were going neck and neck for the Rookie of the Year award, and then Rice got hurt. Yeah. Freddie Lynn just continued on.
Well, Fred Lynn won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP that year. The Red Sox went to the series against
that machine.
Oh, yeah.
That machine in Cincinnati. There's Jim.
Big red machine. Jim Rice.
And he can still hit. We saw him in the celebrity hitting contest at the All-Star game. He can still swing the bat.
2-1 the count to Trot Nixon. Fred Lynn, the game where he had the 3 homers in Detroit, drove in 10. That was a game.
Yeah.
2-1 the count. That is fouled on the right field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, you're talking about Jim Rice, Joe. And today, they had the grand opening and dedication of Jim Rice Field at Ramsey Park in Roxbury. But this is the celebrity hitting contest you're talking about, Joe.
Well, he was hitting some over into McGuire territory during the celebrity hitting contest.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, and he won the contest. Look at this.
That was the one. Man. Base hit. Buford's got great speed. And he will score as Brocious cuts off the throw. 2-1 Yankees. Trot Nixon delivers. He's had the hot hand.
You know, in most cases, you ask for your left-handed hitter to pull the ball in that situation to move the runner over. And El Duque was trying to keep him from pulling the ball. You see that ball tailing away, and Nixon goes the other way. And the thing that saves him is he gets a base hit, because otherwise you're supposed to make sure you pull the ball. I don't know where Spencer's throwing this. I mean, it should have been going to second base, but they cut it off, and they hold Nixon at first.
One of the many young players the Red Sox have come up with. Trot Nixon, 25 years of age. He's back to the bag at first. Trot Nixon, a first-round draft choice back in 1993 from North Carolina. He was the high school player of the year that year, coming out of high school. Sox picked him with the 7th pick of the draft. Offerman shows bunt, and that curveball dropped in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Trot Nixon had a chance to be a real good one at .310 at Pawtucket last year in AAA ball with 23 homers. And just came off the month of July, Joe, this year in the big leagues where he hit over .390. The third, Brocious happy. The second one, not like the first. Double play.
Well, that's why Brocious has always been one of the best fielding third basemen in the league. That was a very tough play. If that ball gets by him, I mean, it's going to be just tough just to get the one at second base. But he's in so shallow, he cuts it off, and he turns it into a double play. Watch this. Offerman sinker away, and he just slaps at it. Look how far he ranges to his left to get it. Perfect throw to Knobloch. Knobloch turns it very quickly at first, second base. Gets a speedy Offerman going down the line. Nice turn there by the Yankees. See where, look how far he goes for that ball. He's over in the middle of the shortstop hole. And Knobloch does a great job of turning it at second base.
Now Valentin, he takes 2 high for ball 1. Well, the Yanks have turned 2 double plays now in the last 2 innings back of El Duque. El Duque himself started the first one. Valentin struck out his first time. There's a fastball with some movement on, like a cutter away. 2-0 the count.
When you drop down like he does, John, sometimes you get underneath the ball, and that's when you see the ball sail and go up and away to a right-hander.
Too low, 3-0. Ryan Daubach is on deck.
Well, he'd hate to walk Valentin, as you mentioned. He's 0 for 11 in his career against Hernandez, so you hate to walk a guy that doesn't have a hit against you.
3-0. Wow. Gave the go-ahead. Maybe Jimmy Williams figured, well, he's never had a hit against him. This may be his best shot.
Yeah.
3-0, 2 down, nobody on.
Well, yes, I guess that's what he was thinking.
I'm analyzing the manager.
I'm glad you did that, because I was trying to figure out why he let him switch 3-0 when you're down by 1 run.
Now that's it. That was it. 3-1 now. It was not a fat one.
No.
For sure. Popped up. Shallow center. Bernie Williams. And that is the inning. By the way, that's now 0 for 12 for Valentin. Chili Davis coming up.
Hey, Jeff. Now, listen, I got it right here, buddy. It's icy cold and tasting great. Now, come on, Jeff. You tell me, is there anybody in this world who deserves this here Pepsi more than you?
Hi, Jeff. See you later, Jeff. Now, that's what I call motivation.
I don't know where she came from.
Don't worry, Jeff. There's always things Daytona. Come on, let's go.
Camcorder, $400. 3-hour tape, $7. Extra battery, $25. Home movies with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, priceless. Use your MasterCard and you could win 4 tickets to a '99 World Series game and sit with baseball's legends. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard, sponsor of the Major League Baseball All-Century Team.
What kind of rooms you got?
King size.
You got room service?
Donuts and coffee.
Got entertainment?
All rooms have every movie ever made in every language, anytime, day or night.
How is that possible?
Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
He's in the garage.
Hey! If you're going to have a garage, have a garage. And if you're going to use an oil, use an oil. Pennzoil with Pure Base. Specially formulated for stop-and-go driving. This is a home improvement. Enter the Pennzoil Dream Garage Sweepstakes. Get a free Tim Allen utility knack knife and a chance to win Tim Allen's Mustang. Or enough cash to build your own dream garage.
Hey!
Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Get ready for 17 weeks and 18 games of Rock'em Sock'em football under the lights.
Is it just me, or does that Chris Berman just get better looking each year?
Whoa. What? ESPN Sunday Night Football. The season begins September 12th.
Now batting for New York. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Tonight we're at Fenway Park in Boston. Next week we'll be at Wrigley Field, Chicago. Tonight the Yanks lead the Red Sox 2-1. We move to the 4th inning. This is John Miller along with Joe Morgan, your Sunday night telecasters. 10th year now, Joe.
10, man.
10 long years.
Seemed like forever, but
you and me.
Had some good times.
Every Sunday, the same thing. You and me.
Same time.
And we're sick of each other, let me tell you.
But it's the same time every Sunday.
What are you going to do next Sunday?
Same thing,
I'll
John.
be with John.
Yeah. Same time, 7 o'clock. 5 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah, 7
Central and 8 o'clock Eastern.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock
in Hawaii. Same thing.
Where we'd both rather be, actually. Chili Davis bounces one foul. That came up and it hit him on the back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chili struck out looking his first time against Bret Saberhagen. 2 other ball games going on. The Texas Rangers, who lead the American League West, are playing at home against Kansas City. Minnesota's playing at Anaheim. You see the starters comparison early on. Yanks have had their chances to do a lot more than 2 runs against Saberhagen. If he can start putting it together here, you may have something. He also threw a lot of pitches this first 3 innings, though. 54 pitches in 3 innings, so that will become a concern if he's not able to bring that pitch total down a little bit in these middle innings.
But the one thing he's still doing is he is causing these left-handed hitters havoc by getting that fastball right on the inside corner or just off the inside corner. And even Chili, those guys are just fighting that pitch off.
Joe Kerrigan, the Boston pitching coach. They're going to watch for line in this charge. That is strike 3 called with a fastball. 1 away. Meanwhile, let's get an update from Dave Revson.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Rangers and Royals at the ballpark. Rubber game of a 3-game set. Tied at 1 in the 3rd. Pudge Rodriguez. An opposite field job. His 19th of the year. He's 2 for 2 already. 5 in the 3rd for Texas. They are leading in this one 6-1. The Angels leading the Twins 1-0 in the other game. Back to Fenway.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Here, 2-1. The Yanks lead the Red Sox, and Jorge Posada comes up. You know, I saw this last night on Baseball Tonight, Joe. And just down that highlight, I mean, the Rangers are wearing blue. Now, they've been wearing red, right? They used to wear blue.
Yeah,
when Bobby Valentine was the manager. But now they're wearing blue again. Just a, just a thought.
Oh, maybe they figure blue is a little cooler in that hot weather down there in Texas.
No, I don't think so.
John, look at this. This is what I like about Saberhagen. Watch Posada. I mean, he's leaning out over the plate, and both of these pitches have hit the inside corner. Now it's 0-2. I mean, he's leaning out over the plate. Look where he is. Look at that. I mean, you can't hit that ball if you're that close to the plate.
Going in again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I mean, that one was almost a strike and almost hit him.
Well, he's just leaning out over the plate. I mean, that tells you that he doesn't feel they can throw 3 pitches in a row on the inside corner.
You see from Mascam, he's still right there, going in there again. Popped him up off the fists. Valentin comes over. He's got it.
Well, I have to tell you, I don't think he can hit that pitch in there. It's tough to get it in there, but Saberhagen has the control to do so. And, you know, you're going to have problems all day long if you stand that close to the plate with Bret Saberhagen pitching.
Maybe to make an adjustment.
Yeah, he needs to. Look at this. I mean, right on the inside corner. That one actually gets a little bit of the plate, and he still can't get to it. See, that one gets some of the plate. You can't get to it. What he's used to doing is getting that ball out over the plate and extending and driving it, but Saberhagen won't let him extend his arms. Good pitching there by Saberhagen. Good recognition right away, too. You see that he was that close.
Shane Spencer, the hitter, flied out to center his first time. Spencer had a profound impact on Brian Daubach's life, even though they've never actually played together, but not even from the same area. But Daubach said that he played for 5 years in the minors in the same level against Shane Spencer. When he saw him doing so well last year, especially in the postseason, he said, hey, if he can do that, I can do that.
And a lot of times, John, hitting is confidence.
Daubach has inspired a lot of confidence in his ability, not only for himself, but from his manager with his play this year. He'll be leading off in the last half of this inning. But it was interesting because he said that he and Spencer played at the same level for a long time. And to see him do it in the majors, he knew that he could do that too. And he got his shot. And that, you know, Daubach was released by the Florida Marlins last November.
Well, better. They were getting rid of everybody else anyway, so I mean, why would they keep him? Hey, anybody that could hit, they would get rid of him, so why would they keep him?
He'll be leading off with Garcia Parra hitting behind him in the last of the 4th. Right now, the Yanks batting, 2 down, nobody on. 1-2 to Shane Spencer. Right field, Trot Nixon. And that ends the inning. 3 up and 3 down after 3.5. Daubach, and then that man, Nomar Garcia Parra, coming up. The Red Sox trail 2-1.
Chili's technical support.
How would you eat these new Chili's lettuce wrap appetizers?
Just pick up the lettuce, add grilled Asian spiced chicken and sauce, fold and eat.
That sounds great.
Doesn't it, though?
Need brakes? Get the best in the business to install them. And a lifetime guarantee honored at every Midas nationwide. Go safely. Go Midas.
Today there are over 300 Red Roof Inns. We've renovated our rooms, brighter colors, better fixtures, but kept our rates as affordable as ever. How do we do it?
Cheap commercials. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF and save money like you mean it.
FogDog.com, your anytime, anywhere sports store. Fog Dog.
Where I come from, things are like in the big leagues, full of excitement. Come, enjoy the Dominican Republic. Mi casa es su casa.
Discover Dominican Republic, where it all began. While we could give you a lot of reasons to buy performance friction carbon metallic disc brake pads from AutoZone, perhaps the most compelling is this. They simply stop shorter than any brand we've ever tested. Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. Ask for them at AutoZone.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out. Last of the fourth, Yanks 2, Red Sox 1. And Boston coming up with its third-place hitter, Brian Daubach, 27 years of age, out of Belleville, Illinois. Out of Belleville, Illinois West High School, in fact, drafted out of high school. And he takes ball one. He flied out to shallow center his first time. Red Sox signed him a month after the Marlins released him. And I guess you really have to give a tip of the hat to Dan Duque and his scouting staff. Somebody knew about this guy. Curveball is hit high and deep into Death Valley. O'Neill back, but this one is on its way. Tie game. Daubach goes deep.
Well, he gets a hanging curveball from El Duque. Watch, there's a curveball. It's just spinning, stays up, and I mean, he pounds it. He wasn't fooled at all by this pitch, John. But those bell-tie curveballs are not that hard to hit. And that's one of the reasons more pitchers throw sliders now. They don't make as many mistakes with the slider as they do the curve.
Garcia Parra, first ball swinging, but into shallow center. Bernie Williams takes care of it, and we have not seen much of Nomar at the plate tonight. He bounced one right out in front of the plate his first time and has gone on the first pitch here. But Brian Daubach, the rookie, third among American League rookies in homers, RBIs, doubles, and extra base hits at the start of the night, has not gone more than 2 starts in a row without getting a base hit. And I mean, he's been steady, and he's been a great story. One of those guys who, Joe, has persevered. I mean, he could have decided to call it quits and go back into civilian life after being released by the Florida Marlins last year. So it is 2-2. One out of nobody out, and Troy O'Leary takes ball one high and tight.
John, I think you try a lot of things before you go back into that 9-to-5 job.
Well, the new pitcher acquired by the Mets, Billy Taylor, had 14 years in the minor leagues before he finally got a look in the big leagues. Now he's in the big city.
Right, and he would have gone 15 if he would have had to, because I'm telling you that this is better than 9-to-5.
That's the line we always use is, yeah, beats working.
Yeah, right.
Daubach, inspired by the success of Shane Spencer, and tonight he has success against El Duque himself. Paul O'Neill, and that is out number 2 as O'Leary is retired. Coming up tomorrow on ABC Sports at 8 Eastern, the Motorola Showdown at Sherwood from Thousand Oaks, California. Tiger Woods and David Duval square off in a head-to-head match play in the first ever live network broadcast of a golf event in prime time. The winner takes home $1.1 million and the loser $400,000. Al Michaels and Mike Tirico will host. That's tomorrow 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC.
John Wayne Gretzky, who originally retired, lives there, and he's going to be there. Michael Jordan was flying out. They were going to hang out together and go watch the match tomorrow.
Well, and we don't have to. We can watch it on ABC.
Yeah, I wish I could go, but I'm going to go home and watch on television.
Okay. Reggie Jefferson, we've been counting on it. Reggie Jefferson, who hit a double play ball his first time, bouncing it back to Orlando Hernandez. 2-2 in the fourth inning. The Yanks had a 2-0 lead and had a chance to make it 3, 4, 5 runs and did not cash in. And now the Sox have come back to tie him. Changeup misses off the outside. 2-0 to Reggie Jefferson. Pretty good left-handed hitter. Jefferson hitting over 300. But they've always been disappointed in his ability to produce runs since he's been here in Boston. Got in on him, and Jefferson pulled it foul high in the air down the right field line. And, by the way, that home run, Joe, that Daubach brought up the point. You mentioned Pesky's pole down the right field line, only 302 feet to that right field foul pole. But if you hit it off the foul line by 20 feet, it's deeper than any other ballpark in baseball. I mean, where he hit it, it's almost 380 feet just to get it to the wall. 30 or 40 feet deeper than almost any other ballpark in baseball to the spot where he hit it.
I had an interesting conversation with Derek Jeter today, and we were talking about ballparks and how they affect your statistics. He was talking about a place like Baltimore and how, you know, fly balls are 360 feet, you know, to right, left center, and right center, 365, that are easily home runs on just regular routine fly balls. And he says in Yankee Stadium, it's Death Valley, anywhere left center, right center. I mean, it's a bigger ballpark.
The Yankee Stadium has a deeper left center than any other ballpark in the majors, 399 to left center there.
It hasn't hurt Jeter all that much, but still, I mean, the point is, the ballparks do affect your statistics, especially if you're a right-handed hitter in a place like Boston here, or a left-handed hitter in a place like New York, the short porch.
There's Jason Varitek. Well, the spot where Daubach hit his home run to right field was kind of dubbed Death Valley by a lot of the great Red Sox left-handed hitters over the years. Orrin Lynn, Joe Morgan lost one out there. I can see it now. Dwight Evans right back to that wall, that short wall in front of the stands. You thought you had a big fly.
Yes.
And instead you had a double play. Varitek grounded out his first time. Foul tips one ball and 1 strike. But in the first month or two of the season, the wind always seems to blow in from right field. And Yastrzemski and Lynn and, you know, probably Ted Williams before then.
Yeah.
And then Mike Greenwell later on. They would crush balls out there and get nothing. The combination of the wind, and it was just so deep out there. And they finally, Fred Lynn said, hey, I'll tell you something Yaz told me, Mike. In April or May,
go the other way.
Inside out that pitch for the wall and left. Good idea. It's a little bit too far in. 2 balls and a strike.
If you watch good pitchers, they make adjustments just like good hitters do. Duque gave up the home run with a curveball to Daubach, and ever since that time, he's pitched every left-hander and every hitter inside. He's not letting them have a chance to extend their arms out over the plate. Pitchers make adjustments just like hitters do.
Duque now has given up 16 home runs this year, the most on the Yankees staff. 2-1 the count. And it goes to 3-1. He's also pitched more innings than any other Yankee on the staff.
You see he's upset with himself there because 2-1, you want to make a pitch. You want to hit the inside corner with that pitch. He misses. Now it's 3-1. And you can't afford to say, okay, I'm going to go back inside again and walk him. So maybe you have to make a pitch a little better than you would like. So you try to make the pitch 2-1 so you don't have to lob something in there at 3-1.
Backing out of play, 3-2. By the way, we're talking about Daubach as a rookie. His home run, his 13th of the year. Only Carlos Beltran, the outstanding rookie with Kansas City, has hit more homers among all rookies in the American League. And Beltran also leads in RBIs. Chris Singleton of the White Sox, whom we saw a few weeks back, is second. Daubach is third among all rookies. On it goes. The ball is pulled foul into the Boston dugout, and he broke his bat hitting that one.
But you can see every pitch so far after the home run has been inside so that they cannot extend on it.
Well, here's a guy who also had an interesting motion, Joe. El Tiante, Luis Tiant, faced your Cincinnati Reds in the '75 World Series.
And he was just great to watch. I mean, he put on a show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Popped him up! What's the matter with Morgan? Making a fortune, and he pops it up! Kind of tough to pick out where that ball's coming from. Huh?
Yeah, Louis was very much like El Duque. You know, and he may have even thrown a little harder than El Duque. I mean, he had a great fastball as well as all the other assortment, curveball, changeups, and everything else.
3-2 the count. Jefferson runs. I think he broke another bat. Well, that's a tough at bat when you break two bats on 2 pitches.
Well, again, you see where he's throwing the pitch. He's not going to let them extend their arms out there and drive the ball, so he's staying in tight. and he just continues to break back. Well, watch where this pitch is. It's again that he hides the ball, and now he fires it a little cutter inside, and you see it's way in. Look where this pitch is. He has to go get it way inside, and he still gets jammed even though he had a 91-mile-an-hour bat speed there.
Varitek, a 3-time All-American at Georgia Tech. And he was a first-round choice in both the 93 and 94 drafts. Reggie Jefferson running. That ball is driven deep into center. Bernie Williams is going back, still going back. It is caught. What a play! Wow! Bernie Williams with a spectacular catch right in front of the big gate out there in center field, and that one looked like there was no way. That saves a run and ends the inning. 2-2. We go to the 5th.
We brought you Dodge Caravan, the most innovative minivan in history, the best-selling minivan in history, and the most copied minivan in history. Now here's what's new from the new Dodge. The Dodge Summer Clearance with a $1,000 cash allowance on Caravan that lowers your price to just $17,785. Or buy Caravan with low 1.9 financing. What's new from the new Dodge? Just catch the Dodge Summer Clearance.
Custom leather-trimmed interior, pure 4x4 toughness. The Mazda B-Series Troy Lee Edition truck. Kind of makes you wish all roads were off-road.
Fingernails will grow 84 feet in a lifetime.
Now that's some serious back scratching.
She'll shed over 40 pounds of dead skin.
Why, my dog doesn't shed that much.
During her life, her hair will grow 590 miles.
Try running your fingers through that.
So just when you thought you had your body all figured out, TLC turns it inside out.
Intimate Universe, the human body, starting tonight at 9 on TLC. Adventures for your mind.
Rich, thanks so much for coming to the game last week. However, the other players and I noticed you had a tough time remembering the words to the national anthem. So I've enclosed a copy of the lyrics to help. Good luck, Tony Gwynn. Or the rampart, or get through the night of the brave.
2-2 as we go to the 5th, and Bernie Williams saved a run with a magnificent play to end the 5th inning with Varitek at the plate.
Well, he went with a fastball away, and he drilled it, and just a great job of running that ball down by Bernie Williams. And you made a good point here, John. He's going full speed. Look how he avoids crashing into that wall. He runs off at an angle, and El Duque says, yeah, I know I got a center fielder out there with a glove. Nice play there by Bernie Williams.
Duque. Yeah, I make him hit and they catch you. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Well, he won a Gold Glove last year, so, and the year before, but last year, especially in that great season they had, he won a Gold Glove.
Well, I think he might be heading for another one based on what we've seen here tonight. Here's Scott Brocious. First ball swinging against Saberhagen, but right there, Clock Nixon. And the Trucksters got it. Brocious is gone on one pitch.
Number 11, the second baseman,
Chuck Daubach is grounded out to first and single. 2-2 in the 5th inning. Bret Saberhagen had the bases loaded and one out on the 3rd, and Bernie Williams at the plate, Tino Martinez behind him, and the chance for things to get out of hand early on. But Bernie hit a sacrifice fly, and Tino popped out, and the Yanks only got the one. He jammed Nomar out number 2 on 2 pitches in the inning. Derek Jeter coming up, and Jeter told us that he's able to recognize the spin of different types of pitches when he's up there.
Sometimes lately I haven't been able to tell. They just throw it up there and I swing, but you know, you try to pick up the spin as soon as possible. I think when every hitter's going well, it seems like they're picking the spin up right away. Every ball spins a little bit different. Slider obviously spins side to side, curveball up and down, and you know, the two-seamer is going to run into a right-hander, and cutter is going to move away from him. So there's so many pitches now.
Well, John, I hope John Thompson, the former coach at Georgetown, was listening to that. He says you can't see the spin on the ball.
Well, that's why he was in basketball.
Right, I told him that.
0-1 to Jeter. Now, he's swung at the first pitch every time from Saberhagen. In fact, Saberhagen's only thrown 3 pitches in this inning.
Well, you know, he talked about it before the game, and he's swinging a lot of bad pitches. And as I've said before, he's swung at every bad pitch that Saberhagen has thrown on the first pitch. He has not taken a pitch, you know, on the first pitch tonight.
Going with it. Fly ball to right. Trot Nixon. Over there near the foul pole. A 4-pitch inning for Saberhagen. We're halfway through it at Fenway. 2-2.
It's barbecue season, the busiest time of the year for your deck, which is why you should protect it with Thompson's Wood Protector. Nothing we make works harder, longer. For rain, sun, mildew, or low-flying meat, Thompson's Wood Protector, it never takes a day off.
So I'm doing a little channel surfing, and I land on Animal Planet.
You don't plan on watching this channel. It just happens to you.
It's got action, adventure, drama, harmony with an animal twist. Now that's big. It's what everyone's going to be talking about tomorrow around the watering hole. They've got great shows like The Crocodile Hunter. You watch it once and it pulls you in. On Animal Planet, anything can happen.
It's here. The GMC Summer Convoy. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks, designed better than they need to be. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. And on select 1999 models, some of the best values of the year. So come in now. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by. The GMC Summer Convoy.
I don't know if I can do this. It's easy. You just sneak up and push them. They tip right over. Right over? Yeah, I've done it 1,000 times.
All right.
Need a new grill? During Napa's Sizzlin' Summer Sweepstakes, you can win a classic barrel grill from any of over 6,000 participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Plus, save on hundreds of items. Stop by today.
Stuart and I get the playoff picture back from the darkroom when we come back.
We're clear.
Oh, the prompter's going too fast. I can't keep up.
Come on, it's not the teleprompter. Shoot.
My throat, I can hardly...
Give him some tea. Give him some tea.
Oh, cut me. Cut me, Lou.
Come on, baby. Come on. Snap out of me. Don't be a lollipop. Get out there. Come on, tonight's your night.
Well, without question, these days, the word on everybody...
Sports Center. Mornings, evenings, and late night. Only on ESPN.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. It's the Yankees 2, the Red Sox 2, and we move into the last of the 5th inning. Orlando Hernandez, interestingly enough, as he gets ready to face Damon Buford. Buford doubled leading off the 3rd inning. The latest scored Boston's first run. But in each of the first 4 innings, the Red Sox leadoff batter has reached base, which is definitely living dangerously for a pitcher. That one is hit a long way to left center field, and it is off the top of the wall. The carom plate cleanly by Spencer. Buford's got great speed, and he uses it well. A double for Buford.
And John, without great speed, he would not have been able to make that. A great play out there in left field by Spencer. He played the carom perfectly, kind of reminded you a little bit of Yastrzemski. Let's look see if we can see the spin that Derek Jeter was talking about on this pitch from El Duque. Now see that spin there? I can see the spin. It's a fastball. It's tailing in a little bit. And you see Buford hits it off the top of the wall. That was a high fastball, and he nailed it. And look at this great play by Spencer. Catches it one hop and fires it to second base.
Trot Nixon now. We had the same situation in the 3rd inning. Nixon takes a strike, where ostensibly Nixon was looking to pull a pitch to get Buford over third. He ended up, after getting 2 strikes, driving one into left field for a base hit to drive him home.
And after 2 strikes is free game. You go just try to drive him in. until you get 2 strikes, you try to pull the ball to the right side, try to find the hole. But once you get 2 strikes, you just try to drive him in with a base hit anywhere.
Trot Nixon, his average up to 283 for the year. Had 233 at-bats in the big leagues, and 7 home runs, but most of them recently.
You can see again how smart El Duque is. He's trying to tail that ball away. A sinker running away. So if he tries to pull the ball, he might pull it back to him.
Pop fly, shallow center. Jeter, Knobloch out, Williams in, and Jeter makes the catch.
Nice play.
So Nixon unable to move Buford over to third base.
Well, you see this should be a little cutting fastball that he runs in. You see that ball's cutting in and moving in on him, and he jammed him, and he popped it up after throwing his sinkers away. He came back with a cutter in, and he jammed him, and that's just a fine play there by Jeter. Ball directly over his head. That's a tough play.
1 out. Runner still at second. The batter, Offerman, time taken. Offerman has walked and grounded into a double play. Offerman was signed to a real huge free agent contract coming over from Kansas City after his best year as a big leaguer last year. They were hoping he would fill the void at leadoff, but he has not hit the last month and a half to 2 months.
And he got off to a fantastic start, John. I mean, he was just unbelievable the first month and a half of the season.
He had .315 at Kansas City last year. Had a lot of walks, very fine on-base average. He stole 45 bases. Not been able to do that over here with the Red Sox. Toward the middle. Knobloch's got it. And he throws it out. Over to third base goes Buford. So the inability to get Buford over to third base with Trot Nixon up there may have cost the Red Sox a run on that ground ball.
Definitely, because even if they infield in, that ball would have gone through. Knobloch double clutches right there, but he still makes a good throw. Throws right over the top and makes a good throw there. Normally you would throw that ball sidearm, but I think he's trying to make sure now, and he throws the ball right over the top and makes a good play.
Here's John Valentin, yesterday's hero. His 9th inning base hit down the left field line drove in the winning run. 2-2 in the 5th inning tonight. And the fastball missing down and in.
And it's interesting because the guy's 0 for 12. You do not like to keep pitching to a guy that's 0 for 12 because he's due. I mean, he's due to get a base hit sometime. You're due to make a mistake, and he's due to make a good swing.
And he's 0 for 12 against El Duque. Down the left field line. Shane Spencer. Well, he got him in enough on the hands that Valentin didn't get the wood he wanted on that one. 1 man left. We're going to the 6th inning. Paul O'Neill, then Bernie Williams coming up, and Tino Martinez. It's been a big night for Bernie. He'll be hitting second.
Think something that small can't hurt your car? Even smaller carbon deposits can clog your car's fuel injectors. So use Gum Out Extra Fuel Injector Cleaner to get rid of deposits for smoother overall performance. And did I mention better acceleration?
Drive your fuel injectors clean with Gum Out Extra.
Taxi! Taxi! 59th Street Theater, please.
Going to see Star Wars Episode 1, huh? Wait till you see the pod racing scene. It's so wizard. Young Skywalker's racing for freedom. Now this is pod racing. Ah, he goes into overdrive. He never stops for anything. Never stops for anything. Never stops for... Ah! Well, you gotta refuel. Oh, joy. Crazy alien.
Sleek, sophisticated, stylish, and yet with an exhilarating V6. Chevy Monte Carlo lets you express that hidden part of your personality, just dying to get out.
Mr. Freeman. How are you?
Tommy?
Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
Get low APR financing or $2,500 cash back on a new '99 Monte Carlo.
At Transamerica,
why?
We have specially priced life insurance policies for people who still exercise without a trainer. Call a Transamerica agent. The people in the pyramid working for you. With Transamerica Life Insurance and your estate plan, you can be sure your money will go where you want it to go. The people in the pyramid working for you.
We're in Boston, and that's the look. There's the Charles up in the upper left-hand side of the picture. Paul O'Neill coming up.
Well, John, Paul O'Neill is 2 for 2, a double on a perfect swing. This is his swing in the first inning. And again, look how long that bat stays level through the zone. That was a great pitch and a great swing. This one is not as good a pitch, but almost as good a swing. Look at that, how he duplicates it. That's a lot of margin for error, and both times he's been able to hit the ball hard off of Bret Saberhagen. And I would wonder now, he's hit the ball hard on a fastball away and another fastball that got the outside part of the plate. I think you have to come inside, but if you're a guy like Paul O'Neill, you know that as well. So this is a good cat and mouse game right here.
Paul O'Neill, 36 years old. First ball swinging. Daubach, and Saberhagen gets the foot out on him, and
well, he did try to come inside, and I think that Paul O'Neill knew that as well. I mean, you tried to get a guy away twice. He's hit 2 bullets. You got to go inside. And watch where this pitch is. Well, it kind of sinks a little bit. It starts inside and sinks a little bit more maybe than O'Neill thought.
Well, suddenly, O'Neill is always unhappy
when he makes an out.
Yeah.
He thinks he's supposed to bat 1,000 every year. From opening day to the end, he thinks he's supposed to get a hit every at bat. And that's good. I mean, hey, man.
Well, and I think from that gesture, he feels like he went after a bad ball.
Well, he did, but now you have to give the pitcher credit sometimes. You've hit his 2 best pitches. He's not going to do that again. He's going to try to trick you, and he did. He threw him a sinker, started it in the strike zone, but it moved out.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah. But, you know, it reminds me a little bit truthfully of Pete Rose. Pete Rose was like that. I mean, he could be 4 for 4 and he'd make an out. You'd think he was 0 for 5. He's really mad. And, I mean, that's good. That intensity as a hitter, that tells you that you don't want to waste any at-bats. Paul O'Neill doesn't waste any at-bats.
Paul O'Neill, born in Columbus, Ohio. Makes his off-season home now in Cincinnati.
Right. Good friend of Jim Courier, the tennis player. They play tennis a lot together.
Paul O'Neill hit over 300 in each of his first 6 years with the Yankees. Been hitting in the 290s as of tonight. This year, Bernie Williams, the hitter, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bernie with a triple and a sacrifice fly. Left center. One does not have enough on it to reach the wall. And O'Leary out number 2. 10 in a row retired by Bret Saberhagen. He's got the last 5 on 7 pitches. Here's the Yankees come out in-game box score.
Martinez.
Paul O'Neill with a couple of hits. Was driven home one of those by Bernie Williams. Scott Brocious had a hit in the 3rd inning, and Bernie drove him in with a fly ball. Otherwise, Tino, Chile, Posada, Spencer all 0 for. And Derek Jeter 0 for 3 and 0 for his last 12.
John, let me make a point I was making with Paul O'Neill. You know, an everyday player gets 600, 625 at bats. Over the course of a year, if a hitter goes back, he will tell you that he's wasted 40 or 50 at bats over the course of the season. By that I mean his concentration wasn't as good as it should have been. He chased his pitches out of the strike zone. So you waste a lot of at bats. Paul O'Neill probably wastes fewer at bats than most players, and that's why he's successful. The fewer at bats you can waste, the better off you are. I mean, he's still steamed, and he's 2 for 3.
Tino Martinez has popped out twice. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to him, facing Saberhagen in the 6th of a 2-2 game. Well, Joe, I mean, can you identify with that? Is there something to do with that level of focus, of concentration?
John, it's hard for me to identify with it because you're going to see thousands of pitches during the course of a year. And anyone that tells you that they can have 100% concentration and focus on every pitch, thousands of pitches over the course of a year, are wrong. But the good hitters have fewer lapses of concentration, you know, than a guy that hits 250 most of his career. You just can't waste a lot of at-bats. If you're going to hit 330 or 340 or, you know, close to 400, you can't waste at-bats. But it's hard not to. I mean, it's almost impossible to just sit there, concentrate, foul a pitch off, and then grab that same level of concentration again on the next pitch or the next swing.
1-2 the count. Popped up. Offerman. And that's the inning. He had a 4-pitch 5th inning, did Saberhagen, and now an 8-pitch 6th inning. 2-2. Daubach coming up.
Roadrunner High-Speed Online connects your computer to your cable TV line so it won't tie up your phone. Roadrunner, the fastest way to the internet.
Every 8 seconds, someone in America is a victim of domestic violence. But you can do something about it. This fall, we're sponsoring the Cycle to Break the Cycle of Domestic Violence, a 20-mile bike ride for a very important cause. This is your chance to make a difference and have some fun while you're at it. So get your bike tuned up and come in and sign up at our customer service center today. You'll be doing a lot more than just spinning your wheels.
Business legends, Moneyline regulars. Know the pilot of Virgin and the operator of AT&T. Know what the world's most successful college dropout is studying. Know how the top people in business are impacting your bottom line. Watch Moneyline News Hour with Willow Bay and Stuart Varney, weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 Eastern. CNN, you are what you know.
Our Propecia rising star, Padres catcher Ben Davis batting against the Astros. Already 6-0 San Diego. The single to center brings home 2. Davis 2 for 4. He hit .344 with 3 homers and 15 RBI in July. Padres snapped their 9-game skid, winning at 10-3. Let's go back to Fenway.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, Ben Davis. I mean, this guy, remember that name. He's got a chance to become a huge star. Excellent receiver, great arm, and he's hitting. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, wearing a microphone.
Okay. Is that what you're giving me a sign?
No, I just dropped my arm on that last call.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling me that's it. You all right? Hey.
Well, Saberhagen made a sign that Kerrigan thought meant that he was finished for the night.
Well, I could read that sign. It looked like he just said, I dropped it and threw it from here. I mean, it didn't look like he said I was finished.
He's thrown 78 pitches for the game.
But I think Kerrigan, you know, is just watching closely, you know.
He's had 2 stints on the disabled list this year. He's had arm troubles at various times throughout his career. Daubach, the hitter, and Garcia Parra will follow. That's too low. Daubach homered, leading off the 4th inning. And the leadoff man has reached base in every inning of this game for the Red Sox. 2 doubles, a homer, and 2 walks. In all of their other at-bats, other than the leadoff at-bats, they, as a team, have 1 hit in 14 at-bats against them. And that's another base hit. O'Neill picks up the carom. It's a stand-up double for Brian Daubach. He is 2 for 3, and Garcia Parra is coming up.
Well, you can see what Orlando Hernandez is trying to do. He's trying to stay in tight on the left-hander, but you can't throw it down and in to a left-hander. See, that pitch is down and in, and a left-hander's bat just automatically speeds up down and in. They're all good low fastball hitters on pitches in. He wasn't trying to get that ball down and in. He was trying to just get it up and in, but he got it down and in, and Daubach ripped it over first baseman's head.
Now, this has got to be a little frustrating with the Red Sox. Usually when you get the leadoff man on over and over again, you put together some nice rounds.
Well, the question is, what do you do here? Do you hit the ball the other way if you're Garcia Parra?
He's the big man. But that was not what he had in mind, and not catchable. Fortunately for Garcia Parra, for Tino Martinez over there at first base.
I think he's had a lot of problems picking the ball up from Hernandez. I mean, You can see that he's check swinging, swinging late. He has not had a good swing this entire ball game. There's that little cutter. Look at the ball move away a little bit. And he tried to check his swing because he was fooled on it. And he almost popped it up to first base.
Garcia Parra just bounced one in front of home plate. Was thrown out. He's also popped one into shallow center. That one is a base hit in the right center field. Here comes Daubach. And he will score. The Red Sox lead 3-2.
And Johnny didn't hit that ball that well, but because he was going the other way, he got jammed, but he fought the ball off going the other way. If he'd have been trying to pull that ball, it would have broke his bat and hit a weak ground ball to an infielder. Now watch his bat, how he pulls his hands in. Look at that, and kind of fights it off the other way. He's going to right field on this pitch. Now this is what's difficult. That fastball is tailing in, as you can see, and you see Garcia Parra. Watch his eyes. Look at this. Trying to go the other way. Look at that. He knows exactly where he's trying to hit that pitch.
Troy O'Leary now. There's a long drive. Deep in the right center. O'Neill back, but this one is into the bullpen. A two-run homer for O'Leary. 5-2 Red Sox.
You're playing with fire anytime you let the leadoff hitter continue to get on base each inning. And he's made two critical mistakes here. See, he's motioned there. I was trying to throw the fastball up and away, and he threw it down. He's thrown two fastballs down and in, and that's what's got him in trouble. These left-handed hitters can hit that low fastball, and that's exactly what they do. There's another one. O'Leary drills that one in the seat. And Daubach got a low and in fastball and ripped it down the right field line. He has not been getting the ball down on the left-handers. He's been keeping the ball up when he's gone inside on them.
And the Yankee bullpen gets busy. Alan Watson, a left-hander, starts to warm up. Mel Stoppelmeyer visiting at the mound with Orlando Hernandez. A double for Daubach, a single by Garcia Parra, and then the long home run by O'Leary into right center. And just like that, the Red Sox lead 5-2, the 20th home run of the year for Troy O'Leary. And another lefty coming up now. Red Sox have 6 left-handed hitters in their order tonight against Hernandez.
See, there he goes back upstairs again, John. That's what he was saying. I was trying to throw that riding fastball, and I got the ball down. Now, he can throw the left-handers in if he gets the ball above the waist. But when you start getting the ball down on these left-handed hitters, and you get the ball middle of the plate in, they're going to hurt you.
That's a base hit. That's 4 consecutive hits for the Red Sox. Here in the 6th inning, still nobody out. So Reggie Jefferson gets his first hit of the game. Jason Varitek coming up. Switch hitter who will bat left-handed.
Let's take a look at O'Leary. It looks like he moves up in the batter's box when the pitch is coming. Let's see if we're right here. Well, not really. He just kind of times it with his feet. He uses his feet to gauge the pitch then rather than so much of a stride. He just kind of bounced up and down to time the pitch.
I know what you're saying, though. I thought the same thing. Looked like he took a
like a softball hitter.
Yeah. Sometimes when you go to Yankee Stadium on their big Jumbotron screen before games, they show some old vintage films of the Babe. And there, I mean, literally were times where you saw the Babe take a step forward. Orlando Hernandez trying to put it back together here.
There's the Babe and Frank Robinson. 2 guys with over 500 home runs. Frank had 586. Babe 714.
Of course, the Babe began his career with the Red Sox. His big league career as a pitcher. Varitek showing bunt. Varitek got robbed of a double, maybe even a triple his last time up there. Bernie Williams saved a run back in the 4th inning. Well, now here comes Joe Torre. So that will have to do it for Orlando Hernandez. Hernandez, who had a shortened start his last time out last Tuesday because of a dead arm. And tonight just seemed to lose it all at once here in the 6th inning. The Red Sox lead 5-2. Alan Watson, a left-hander, will be called into the game.
Today we study the enemy, the humanoids after us.
Outsmart the bugs with Terminix. We'll be there when you need us.
And the most dangerous Terminix eradicator.
Call 1-800-TERMINIX. No bugs, no hassles.
America Online makes planning your summer easier than ever.
Vacations,
movies,
concerts, and more.
This summer, keep in touch with email, instant messages, a buddy list. America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Sign up today.
Rogaine Extra Strength is proven to work for 4 out of 5 men.
I like my chances.
Only Rogaine has extra strength, and it's proven to stop hair loss or regrow hair. Rogaine Extra Strength, proven to work.
Let's talk hard-working engines. Pretty rough, huh? Well, you wanted full off-road capabilities. You know, just in case all the drive-thrus get moved to the mountains. But guess what? You got a hard-working engine. Better get a hard-working oil. This is Quaker State 4x4, a synthetic blend for hard-working engines. It's been tested. For pure maximum protection, nothing's better. Quaker State, sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
On any road, in any kind of weather, you can find yourself out of luck with a flat tire. But not with this tire. Even with no air pressure, you keep driving to safety. Goodyear Aqua Steel Run Flat. It could be the difference between finding yourself out of luck or finding the safe way home. Aqua Steel Run Flat, only from Goodyear.
I will never let good interfere with great.
I will do more than what's expected. I will not always have the solution, but I will always find it.
Я работаю в банке JP Morgan.
I work for JP Morgan.
I work for JP Morgan.
We're at Fenway Park, Sunday night baseball, and the Red Sox have moved ahead of the Yankees 5-2. In the 6th inning, there's the view of Fenway from the gum-out aerial cam. And Orlando Hernandez, who had never been beaten by the Red Sox in 3 previous starts, including 2 this year, only 1 earned run in his first 2 starts against Boston this year back in May. But tonight, the Sox got to him, and he never got an out here in the 6th inning. Now Alan Watson has come on in relief. Watson, who started the year as a New York Met, now from the Bronx as a New York Yankee. His numbers are his overall numbers this year. He, for a brief time, was with the Seattle Mariners. The runner at first is Reggie Jefferson, and he's back to the bag with Tino Martinez holding against him. The hitter is Jason Varitek with a count of 1 ball and no strikes.
Varitek jumps over to the other side.
The switch hitter, now batting right-handed. He has hit about equally as well from either side of the plate. Hit slowly, and Daubach will get the short out at first. Jefferson moves over. Now Damon Buford has had a big night tonight. Don Buford's son. Remember, we saw Don Buford in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago. Don Buford, an outstanding leadoff man for many years in the big leagues. Damon Buford used to be in the Baltimore organization, and it was feared that he was just never going to hit well enough to be an everyday player, but Damon is an outstanding defensive player, outstanding center fielder, and last year hit .282 with the Red Sox, playing part-time as a role player. He's out of USC. He was an All-American there as a freshman. He played at USC with Brett Boone and several other players who eventually went to the big leagues. That changeup swung on and missed, ended his 0-2.
John, I was broadcasting college baseball when we were doing, games before the World Series, and I did the game with Brett Boone and Buford and some of the other guys on the USC team.
0-2 to Damon. Off the outside. Damon Buford is now 29 years old. Born in Baltimore. His dad, Don, actually managed him 1 year in the minor leagues, 1992. And his third year in pro ball. He tried to get in on him, and Damon pulled it. Watson is not a real hard thrower. Depends on that off-speed pitch, and he's one of those guys, Joe, who likes to stay on that outside edge. He likes to paint that outside corner,
but not with as much cheese as you'd like sometimes.
Soft cheese. Don't eat it. Over to third base. Brocious after looking Jefferson back. Throws Buford out. First time Buford's been retired. 2 men gone. Red Sox lead 5-2. Here's the gum out Red Sox in-game box score. And Brian Daubach, the rookie, had a big night. A homer and a double. 2 runs scored. Garcia Parra drove him in with a base hit in this inning, and Troy O'Leary, a 2-run homer. Damon Buford, 2 doubles and a run scored. Red Sox have 8 hits. Here is Trot Nixon. Single homer run his first time. Quick ball ended his 0-1. Trot Nixon, one of 280 players in baseball history to hit 3 homers in a game. But he had only 3 home runs in his career before the 3-homer game. That's kind of unusual.
Very unusual.
Red Sox had a guy, see if you remember this name, 1969. They had a rookie by the name of Joe LaHood.
Yeah, I remember Joe, left-handed hitter.
And he had 1 home run in his big league career, and then he hit 3 in a game for the Sox. 2 years ago, catcher for the Phillies, Bobby Escalella, had a 3-homer game. Escalella had only had 2 home runs in his career before he hit the 3. The last 40 years, only LaHood and Escalella had fewer than the 3 home runs career that Nixon had when he hit 3 in a game. And that's the high strike, and it is 2-2 now to Trot Nixon. You see, you think I just all week I like go to the beach and play. But I am in there digging, Joe.
Digging.
I am finding little bits of
information, right?
Arcane information out there.
Well, a lot of times this year we've needed it because we've had such blowouts in certain games.
Unlike tonight, is that what you're saying?
Unlike tonight.
We didn't really need that tonight. And it's caught by Posada. Trot Nixon is retired. We're going to the 7th inning. And the Red Sox lead the Yankees 5-2.
Welcome to Help Corps, the service specialists. All of our operators are currently assisting other customers. Please hold. If this is an alert, welcome to Please Hold.
Before you go here, go here. Whether you want immediate answers or help, at go.com, the solution is always available.
Need brakes? Get the best in the business to install them. And a lifetime guarantee honored at every Midas nationwide. Go safely, go Midas.
This is Propecia, a pill that might interest you. Talk to your doctor and call 1-888-5-MERC-9 to see if you're eligible for a $10 rebate certificate. Propecia. There's no reason to wait.
They're the kind of folks who take pride in taking care of their car, who'd rather take the time and save the money by doing the job themselves. In other words, they're the kind of people who turn to AutoZone every week. And while they come to us for the quality parts or the everyday low price, sometimes they come just for the advice. And that's okay, because at AutoZone, giving people what they need is what we're all about.
Mom, Dad, if I'm paying rent, I gotta have a better breakfast than this.
Mark.
I know there's some dietary restrictions at the table, but no way.
What would you like, Mark?
Potatoes, sausage, eggs.
Would you like me to serve that to you in a nice warm skillet?
That would be great.
What does this look like? A Holiday Inn?
Want a better breakfast? Try our award-winning Best for Breakfast menu at today's Holiday Inn.
Customer service? Yeah. Uh-huh. No need to check. We always have that in stock. Come on down. We're open till 7.
Before you go here, go here. Whether you're checking stock or arranging delivery, at go.com, your time is yours.
It's here! The last season. Hey, you may never see this swing again. Ken Griffey Jr., look at this.
Immerse yourself in the last season of the century. Watch Baseball Tonight on ESPN.
Touch 'em all, Junior! Touch 'em all!
Sunday night baseball from Boston, 5-2. The Red Sox lead as we head to the late innings here at Fenway. We want to remind you now, coming up on Wednesday, the Wednesday night baseball doubleheader, the Atlanta Braves, they are in quite a battle with the Mets. Over in the National League East, they take on the Pirates at 7:30, and then the San Francisco Giants, second place to Arizona in the National League West, meet at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. So a lot of action coming up on Wednesday night baseball. The Braves and the Pirates, and then the Giants and the D-backs. Barry Bonds has gotten it going after his elbow surgery. Had 4 homers in 2 games in Cincinnati, Friday and Saturday. Here's Saberhagen to Chili Davis. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We'll keep a close eye on Saberhagen here. The Red Sox getting to that point where they're very concerned about his ability to continue. Derek Lowe is up in the bullpen, a right-hander.
Well, Chili Davis has had a lot of problems with him. He thinks he's still throwing well. He hit that ball behind him almost. He is not picking the ball up well off of Saberhagen tonight.
Saberhagen has retired 11 straight Yankees, and it looks like this will be number 12. Daubach to Saberhagen, and there is 1 away. Saberhagen, of course, has had a lot of injury problems and had some very serious surgery in the past, and he told us about it.
Just trying to stay healthy and get out there each and every time has been a struggle this year, and I really expected it to be a lot easier. But I think the biggest thing that really is fortunate for me, I still have my control. The mechanics are still solid, and I'm able to throw the ball where I want to. I don't have a whole lot of walks, and I've given up maybe a few more hits now because I'm not throwing the ball as hard as I was prior to the surgery, but I'm still able to get it up around 90 miles an hour. So I think the big thing that really that continues to make me successful is my control.
As Jorge Posada with a mighty cut, he doesn't get it, ended his 0-1. He had the shoulder surgery in 1996 and missed the entire season. But after that, the Red Sox signed him as a free agent. Broken bat. Daubach. This time he'll take it himself, although Saberhagen was there. Man, Bret is turning in a vintage performance. He'd make it look easy now.
Well, he's basically fouled that curveball that was getting him knocked around, and he's going with a fastball and a changeup. Most of his pitches have been a fastball, maybe a sinking fastball or a straight fastball, but he's also mixing in a changeup.
Yeah, he hung a curve to Bernie Williams in the first. He hit it for a triple to drive in the Yanks' first run, and he just seemed like most of the time when he threw it, it either missed badly out of the strike zone, or worse yet, it made it in the strike zone and somebody hit it hard. He's thrown 17 pitches in the last 3 innings to retire 8 straight hitters.
Well, he just tried a curveball. I guess every time we talk about it, he tries one. But he tried a curveball there with Shane Spencer. And I think it's because they don't want to give Spencer a lot of fastballs. They know he's a good fastball hitter.
Well, he hung a curve to Shane earlier, and Spencer just whacked it hard, but fouled. Fastball misses, and it is 2-0. Shane Spencer is flied out to center and flied out to shallow right. Well, this is what the Red Sox need to see. They need to get Pedro Martinez back and healthy and being Pedro Martinez again.
Well, we'll find out Tuesday, right? He's starting on Tuesday.
That's the plan. High pop foul. The seats are right behind third base there. That was probably a playable ball in almost any other ballpark in this league, the National League, or any other league you can name in the world.
It's only 10 feet off the foul line down the left field line, and there it is. You can see, I mean, the ball's right here, just off the foul line.
Garcia-Parra went right over to the edge of the stands with a, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name's Nomar Garcia-Parra." You're a fine young man.
One of my favorite pictures is Don Mattingly goes over to the rail and he eats some of the kids' popcorn.
And there's Garcia-Parra in action. Wow. Got it over there in a hurry to retire Shane Spencer. A 9-pitch inning for Saberhagen. Top of the order coming up for Boston, 5-2.
We brought you the newest Dodge Neon with everything from more total interior room to a redesigned transmission so you can grin from gear to gear. Now here's what else is new. The Dodge Summer Clearance with extremely low financing on Neon. Or a generous cash allowance, which makes your new Neon extremely affordable. What's new from the new Dodge? Just catch the Dodge Summer Clearance.
Man, wouldn't it be great to work there?
That's it?
I quit!
Great to have you aboard. Thank you so much. Great to be aboard. It really is. Hey, don't you usually get culottes about now?
Yeah, Beatrice used to bring them. And she heard of this job opening across the street.
The grass is always greener where the Dunkin' Donuts culottes are.
It's Toyota's Great Summer Sales Event, where you can drive a new Toyota Camry, America's best-selling car, for just $229 a month, or combine cash back with an extra value package and save up to $1,000 on an LE. Or get a great summer deal now on a Camry CE and save up to $1,500. Now's the time to see your New England Toyota dealer.
It's a great time for driving a new Toyota. Here comes the one.
But hurry, the Great Summer Sales Event ends August 2nd.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance Fuel Additives. And in part by Quikrete. Quikrete cement and concrete products help you do it yourself. And by Head & Shoulders. Changes dandruff problems into beautiful hair.
The first game was played at Fenway Park 6 days after the Titanic struck the iceberg. So perhaps the newspapers of the time didn't play it up quite as much as they might ordinarily have. Tim Wakefield now warming up in the bullpen. The bullpens were installed out there in front of those right field bleachers where Wakefield is now warming up after Ted Williams' rookie season.
So he could hit some home runs.
It was just too deep out there for a great left-handed star, although he hit plenty of them out there anyway. They put the bullpens in time for the 1940 season. There's the look at him from upstairs. And they dubbed that area, the bullpen area, Williamsburg. A ball outside to Offerman, 2-0 as he faces Alan Watson. We start the last of the 7th inning. Fenway Park opened with its first game. And in Detroit, the Detroit Tigers played their first game in their new ballpark. And all too soon, Joe, they'll be playing the final game in the long, storied history of Tiger Stadium. September the 27th, I believe, will be the final game for the Tigers at the great old yard there in Detroit. And there's ball 4 to Offerman. In Fenway, they're also planning a new ballpark to replace Fenway Park. The new Fenway would be right nearby. There's a drawing of the location of the new ballpark, and here's a computer virtual tour of the new Fenway. and it looks beautiful. It'll have the big wall in the same dimensions as the current Fenway Park. There's Pesky's pole in right field, and the 37-foot high wall in left field. Here is Valentin coming up as Offerman goes back to first. Offerman has had 13 steals, been thrown out 9 times, though. He's not had the same base stealing magic he had last year. That's a ball, so Watson is lacking his control as he starts the 7th inning.
Well, you saw that Posada gave him a sign, keep your front shoulder in, meaning his front shoulder's flying out like a hitter. If your front shoulder flies out, you lose control.
Red Sox, for the 7th consecutive inning, have their leadoff man on base every inning of the game. That is too high. 2-0. They've had 3 doubles and a homer from their leadoff man and 3 walks. Posada out to check with Watson briefly. Sports Century this Friday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. The top 50 athletes this week at Friday. Number 23, track and field great Jackie Joyner-Kersee, 2-time Olympic heptathlon champion, 1988 Olympic long jump gold medalist, and 6 Olympic gold medals overall. That'll be Friday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. Joe Torre goes out to get Watson. Just not able to throw a strike here in the inning. And Ramiro Mendoza, the right-hander, will come on to face Valentin. 5-2.
With Quikrete fast-setting concrete, you just pour it in the hole and add water. It sets hard in minutes. After all, why do you think we call it Quikrete?
When you're active, the last thing you want is the itch of dandruff. New Head & Shoulders Refresh. It helps prevent dandruff, and its refreshing formula feels stimulating on the scalp. Head & Shoulders Refresh, our refreshing way to help prevent dandruff.
This is how the world looks from the inside of the new Chevy Impala. And this is how the new Impala looks to the world. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
What's it like to drive the Brickyard 400?
Well, it's kind of like being in the middle of a traffic jam.
At 190 miles an hour. There's only one Brickyard 400 presented by Pennzoil.
Wherever your kids want to go this summer, there's a Red Roof Inn nearby. Beaches, theme parks at a price that'll make everybody happy, especially you. Well, I'm lost. Anybody got a map? Call 1-800-THE-ROOF, where kids stay free and save money like you mean it.
Mamma mia, cheesioso, molto bene, delizioso. Now Pringles, a bit delicious.
Later on SportsCenter, a Wimbledon rematch between Sampras and Agassi. A Sunday night conversation with Derek Jeter and a preview of Monday's Sherwood Showdown. SportsCenter after the game.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gumout. 5-2 the Sox lead the Yankees. We want to remind you that next Friday's Sports Century show on Jackie Joyner-Kersee will be 7:30 Pacific time, but 10:30 back east, 9:30 Central time. So make your viewing plans now. It's been a wonderful series of programs, very well produced, and that should be a great one.
Did you get the vote on that? Did you vote on that 50 greatest athletes?
No.
Oh, I didn't either.
But I would have voted for you. John Valentin taking ball 3 there, 3-1. There goes Offerman, and the ball is hit high and foul off the right field line. As Ramiro Mendoza comes on, picking up for Alan Watson, he had to inherit a 2-0 count to Valentin. Should he proceed to walk him, that walk would be put on Watson's record.
And Valentin, when he hit second a lot, he used to hit and run a lot. He hasn't done as much of that lately, but he can still hit behind the runner. And this is the perfect 3-2 situation to do it.
Back to the bag is Offerman. Joe Torre tonight has twice made pitching changes after his pitcher had started a sequence against a certain hitter. Last time was after a ball was thrown at Jason Varitek in the 6th inning. He went for Watson. Then when Watson couldn't get the ball over to Valentin a couple of times after a walk to Offerman, he went out with a hook. There goes Offerman. That one is into shallow right field along the line. That's going to fall. Base hit. Offerman held up at second just in case, and then took off to third. So runners at first and third, nobody out, and Daubach coming up.
Well, that's what Valentin can do. He can hit behind the runner. The hole opens up on the right side. Look at this big hole, and he's just trying to fight it off over there. He flips it over there a little bit, gets it in the air, but he still falls for a base hit.
Number 23.
And he does his job. He picks up an extra base for Offerman by moving him over to third.
Now, the big field at Fenway is right field. Now, most ballparks, the big field is center field. In Yankee Stadium, right field is the short field. Had that same ball been hit at Yankee Stadium, O'Neill, who would have been playing in shallower, I think would have been able to come in and catch it. But in Fenway, he's got to play fairly deep because there's just so much room out there. Here's Daubach having a big night on Sunday Night Baseball. He has flied to shallow center, and then in the 4th, he tied the game with a long home run out there beyond Death Valley into the crowd. In the 6th inning, he started the 3-run rally with a double to right. He's 2 for 3. Runners at first and third. Middle infield looking for the double play. That one is shot foul into the stands in a hurry. 1-1. In the 4th inning, he was leading off against El Duque.
That was a hanging breaking ball, and he put a charge into it. I don't care where that one would have been hit. It was a base hit. And he gets a low fastball, and he rips it down the right field line for a double. I mean, he's swinging the bat really well tonight, but as you mentioned, he's been swinging the bat well all year long.
Well, you know, more than half of his hits this year in his rookie season have been for extra bases. He's had 73 hits altogether, 37 of them for extra bases, including 13 homers. Second in the American League among all rookies. Changeup.
Beautiful pitch right there. Not only was the speed great, but the movement. That ball really dropped down out of the strike zone. This is a changeup of 77 miles an hour. But not only is it the speed, but look at the ball really drive down. You can even see it in slow motion. That ball, the bottom falls out.
2-2. Offerman at third, Valentin at first. He went back with it again there, and he just didn't get a piece of it. 2-2 now. The Yanks middle infielders are in a position to go for the double play, meaning they'd give up a run to get that double play. And part of that, I guess, could be that Nomar Garcia-Parra's coming up next.
Well, they're trying to stay out of the big inning, like you said. They're willing to give up one more, but they don't want to get blown out of this ball game.
They've only got a couple of innings left to try and come back. And another ball that was down. He threw that one a little bit harder.
Same pitch, though. He threw 3 different speeds of changeup. The first one was 77, then he threw a 74, and that one was 80. Now watch, you'll see it's the same pitch. It just depends on the way you grip it. You can see him choking it. He just threw that one a little harder. And you can see Daubach way out in front.
And that's a big strikeout. Now a double play ends the inning with nobody scoring. But it's Nomar Garcia-Parra. Nomar, second in the league in hitting. At the start of the night, he is 1 for 3 in the game. And that's a foul out of play. He comes up with Offerman at third base, having walked. Valentin at first base, having singled. Tino Martinez on the bag with him. 5-2, the Red Sox lead. Tim Wakefield up in the Boston bullpen, so we may have seen the last of Saberhagen. Ramiro Mendoza has been in his own slump here lately. And that's too low. Now, George Steinbrenner was here tonight. Joe, I had a chance to visit with the Yankees principal owner before the game. The Yankees did not make a trade that many thought that they might make last night. And Steinbrenner said that part of the reason, or the main reason, was because of Joe Torre's confidence in what they had. This could be two. Brocious the second one. Not left to first. Double play. Well, Ramiro Mendoza, one of those in whom Joe Torre has such great confidence, does a great job. Still.
Everything you see around you, every day of your life, that's where vision begins. The doctor is in.
Dr. Stanley Pearl founded Pearl Vision believing that eye care is serious medicine. Nearly 40 years later, the doctor is still in.
Nobody cares for eyes better than Pearl.
Right now, your age is your discount. Save up to 100% on frames depending on your age.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Thank you.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by GMC Sierra.
Charlie Hustle takes his National League record hitting streak into Atlanta.
Now the pitch to Rose. He swings and misses. He struck out. Pete Rose has his hitting streak stopped at 44 games in a row.
I remember him coming to Shea Stadium in the middle of it and how much he reveled in it. Nobody liked being a baseball star more than Pete Rose did.
August 1st, 1978.
It's here. The GMC Summer Convoy. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks, designed better than they need to be. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. And on select 1999 models, some of the best values of the year. So come in now. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by. The GMC Summer Convoy.
Top of the 8th inning. The Red Sox 5, the Yankees 2 from Fenway Park. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern and again at midnight Eastern on ESPN. Baseball Tonight. All of the scores, exclusive highlights of games in progress, and the latest on Gwynn and Boggs and Cal Ripken as they close in on 3,000 hits. And of course, Gwynn and Boggs are each just 6 hits away. So get all the latest news on Baseball Tonight. George Steinbrenner says he is glued to Baseball Tonight whenever it's on. In fact, Joe, he says he wakes up with ESPN and he goes to sleep at night with ESPN. Chris Berman will be hosting Baseball Tonight tomorrow right here on ESPN. Scott Brocious, the hitter, against Tim Wakefield. On in relief for the Red Sox, trying for one of those 2-inning saves. Picking up for Saberhagen, and Saberhagen was just magnificent tonight.
The last 14 hitters he retired.
And he didn't have his curveball.
Yeah.
Started off shakily and then put it all together.
And John, the thing we talked about in the open is that he was the guy that could keep the Yankees out of hitters' counts. And he only had a couple of pitch times where he went to 2 balls in those strikes, did not have a 3-ball count on any hitter. I mean, that's amazing. You know, in 6 to 7 innings, not to go to 3 balls on any hitter.
Yeah, well, especially against the Yankees, it's almost a miracle. I mean, the Yankees see more pitches than any team in baseball. And some of their hitters, you could just go ahead and start them at 3 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Save some time.
Well, that's the way you defeat them. You throw strikes, stay ahead, and keep them off balance. Easier said than done.
Saberhagen with 7 innings tonight. Only the 3rd time that this entire year that he's gone 7. And those are his 3 longest outings of the season. Through 87 pitches. 4 times went to 2 balls. And Brocious and swinging at a butterfly. 1 away.
Willie Stargell used to say swinging at Phil Necro's knuckleballs like trying to eat soup with a fork. It doesn't work. And there you see the knuckleball. Look at the spin. You see there's not any spin, and that allows the ball to go any way it wants. Whichever seam tumbles in any direction, that takes the ball that way.
Wakefield, of course, was always the starting pitcher for the Red Sox, but when they lost their ace closer, Tom Gordon, turns out Gordon's going to need surgery. Maybe lost all of next year. In addition to the rest of this one, Knobloch takes a strike, but Wakefield has had 13 saves in 14 chances. I mean, he's just been sensational.
Well, that's the first time we've seen guys get upset with Diaz behind the plate. Both Knobloch and Joe Torre thought that ball was high.
1 ball, 1 strike. Although Jeter got a little upset when he was called out in the first inning.
Yeah, you're right. That was so long ago I couldn't remember. That was before Saberhagen got on a roll.
That's why I'm here, Joe. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lazaro Diaz, the home plate umpire. We're in the 8th inning. Leadoff man Knobloch. 1 for 3. Derek Jeter on deck. Wakefield, the first knuckleballer to have gotten a save in a big league game in 18 years. The last guy to have saved a game who threw a knuckleball regularly.
Wilbur Wood?
Charlie Huff.
Charlie, oh yeah.
1981. Wilbur Wood had 57 saves in his career.
Hoyt Wilhelm had a lot.
And that is ball 4.
Well, that's the thing that's one of the problems you have when you have a knuckleball pitcher as a closer or even as a starter. You can't always control the knuckleball. And the last thing you want to do is give the Yankees an opportunity by helping them out, walking any hitters. You walk a couple of hitters, and before you know it, one bad pitch, and you're tied.
Derek Jeter, 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for his last 12. Jeter has been so sensational this year that 0 for 12 is tantamount to a slump for him. And I mean, he just has not gone through an 0 for 12 at any other time this year, leading the league in hitting. His average now 361. Tim Wakefield, 13 saves. Joe Niekro had 16 saves. Phil Niekro had 21.
The fastball over the outside corner. And you do not want to throw a lot of fastballs if you are a knuckleball pitcher, but you have to mix in one every once in a while. You do not want to just continue to walk hitters. You have to challenge them every once in a while.
There goes Knobloch. Called a strike, but Knobloch easily steals it.
I think that bothered Jeter a little bit. He looked like he was going to swing, then he stopped. Now you see Jeter stepping out of the batter's box. I don't think he's real happy with what happened right there. He already had a strike on him, and he didn't want to take this. So he wanted to swing, but he saw that Knobloch was running, so he allowed him to steal the base. But now he has 2 strikes on him.
Of course, I mean, the steal is not a real big play. No, down by 3 runs. Well, he stayed in there in that one and managed to fight it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with Paul O'Neill on deck. This is a big batter for Wakefield to get.
And because you got Paul O'Neill coming up next, Bernie Williams, a lot of left-handers coming up following.
There goes Knobloch. And it's fouled right back to the screen by Jeter. Knobloch got his 20th steal of the year. He leads the Yankees in that category, but he's getting the chance to get a great jump, and he's taking it.
Well, you know, everybody plays the game the way they want to play it. I don't necessarily agree, because I think you're distracting the hitter. You're standing there at second base, and you take off. He sees you out of the corner of his eye, and he loses sight of the ball a little bit.
And Jeter, again, just gets a piece of one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Knobloch is on base, and he's the first Yankee to have reached base since the 3rd inning. And O'Neill hit his 2nd base hit of the game. Some Yankee fans here at Fenway with the Yankee cheer. Seems like he's closing in and actually doing some damage to one of these knuckleballs now.
Sometimes a knuckleball makes you concentrate harder, because you can't just jump out there at it. You're trying to find the ball. You're trying to see if it's going to stay in the strike zone. And maybe you concentrate on it. You keep your eyes on the ball a little bit better. You see it tumbles inside, and Jeter has to pull it foul.
1-2. That one dropped low. 2-2. 5-2. The Red Sox ahead. We're in the 8th inning.
Knuckleball pitchers can put you in a slump, so maybe if you're in one, maybe it can get you out of one, because it really changes the way you approach the ball.
Jeter pops that one up foul and back out of play. So he is really in quite a battle here with Wakefield. Now, he was hitless yesterday and has not gone 2 consecutive games without a hit all year. And he has seen 9 pitches in this at bat from Tim Wakefield. Knuckler almost hit it. 3-2. Jeter saw 8 pitches in his first 3 at bats combined, Joe, and you pointed out at the time he was up there hacking.
Yeah.
He's seen 10 pitches in this at bat already.
Well, again, knuckleball pitchers make you concentrate and make you be a little more focused at the plate.
There goes Daubach. And Jeter bounces another one foul. Daubach will have to go back. Don Zimmer, one-time Red Sox manager, was victimized by the Yankees. Bench coach and Joe Torre, and for a while this year he was the manager. Torre was out after his cancer surgery. Jeter fouls another one off. 12 pitches he's seen now. This is turning into an epic. A mini-series anyway.
Well, in watching Joe Torre and Don Zimmer talk there, maybe Joe Torre said, well, if Knobloch's running, somebody has to cover third. That opens up a hole on the left side a little bit, and it may help Jeter to find a hole on that side.
There goes Knobloch. And he struck it out. The 13th pitch avoided the bat of Derek Jeter as Knobloch steals third.
Well, here's the knuckleball. This one was the first one that really dropped down. The other one just kind of stayed up, and he was able to get a piece of it. You can see the bottom falls out of this one, and that one's the toughest one to hit, that diving knuckleball. If they stay up, you can kind of fight them off, and you can hit them. When that ball dives down like that, it's very difficult to handle it.
So suddenly hard times for Derek Jeter as Paul O'Neill comes up. Ground ball, base hit to left field. So O'Neill is 3 for 4 in this game. And it is 5-3 Boston.
Well, there's Paul O'Neill. Now he's happy, John. We saw how frustrated he was. He made an out last time. Now he's back to 3 for 4.
So one time he made out, he was just berating himself.
Now let's take a look and see if there's a lot of difference in his swing that we saw against a knuckleball pitch. You see, look, he's definitely going the other way. Look at it. See how he points the bat that way almost. He was going to left field with that pitch.
And it's gone that way
3 times.
3 times for hits tonight. Here's Bernie Williams. He is the possible tying run. Bernie has tripled into the triangle in center field. He's also hit a sacrifice fly, and he's flied out. Now he's a switch hitter, and ordinarily would be batting left-handed against a right-hander, but against a knuckleballer, he's going to swing right-handed.
Well, most people say that he's a much better and more powerful hitter from the right side anyway. Normally, you know, he's always been able to drive the ball better from the right side. And since he's throwing a knuckleball, it's not going to bother you. You don't have to worry about a slider or a fastball in under the hands.
1 ball and no strikes to count. Runner at first, 2 down. 1-1. Well, Roberto Alomar would sometimes do this. He was always afraid that His left-handed stroke against a right-handed knuckleballer might get messed up.
And that's true. I mean, knuckleball pitchers can put you in a slump.
And sometimes Alomar would swing left-handed against Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Because he had just no success hitting right-handed against him. That is called a strike on the inside, and Bernie didn't think so. 1-2. I mean, this is crunch time in this game. It is 5-3 Boston. The Yankees cleanup hitter, the possible tying run at the plate, Bernie Williams, one of the league's leading hitters. Tino Martinez behind him. O'Neill at first gets his lead. 1 ball and 2 strikes. O'Neill runs. Deep to center. Way back there and off the top of the wall. O'Neill will score. Bernie Williams streaking for third with his second triple of the night. And it's a 1-run game. And you're going to hear many Yankee fans at Fenway Park making their presence felt as Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, out to talk to Wakefield.
Well, this is a knuckleball that kind of acts like a slider, and Bernie puts a charge into it. It hit above the door out there in center field, bounces away, and Bernie hitting right-handed work that time.
Well, Bernie Williams has driven in 3 of the Yankees' 4 runs tonight, 2 of them with triples.
And John, the thing you have to be careful of here is a pass ball or a wild pitch with a knuckleballer out there on the mound.
Because suddenly the possible tying run of the game is over at third base in the person of Bernie Williams. Here's Tino Martinez. He is 0 for 3. A strike at its own 1. Tino is 9 for 22 lifetime against Tim Wakefield, a 4.09 average.
Well, I would think that because, you know, he's not really a pull hitter, that he would have some success because he stays back through the middle, and that's what you do with knuckleball pitchers. Try to stay back through the middle as Bernie Williams did. He stayed straight away and hit the ball off the center field wall. If you try to pull a lot of knuckleball pitchers, you get in trouble. Just try to stay back through the middle.
And that one, it came in on the hands, pulled foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe Kerrigan wearing a microphone tonight when he went to the mound to talk to Wakefield. Here's what happened in the conversation.
Your delivery. One thing you might add here with this guy is you might think about your throttle. If you get ahead, let's go throttle up, throttle down with them, okay? So you don't give them one speed for 4 or 5, 6 pitches in the at-bat, okay? All right?
The throttle. Well, when he says throttle, it means turn it up a little bit, turn it down. Like I said, don't throw him the same speed.
That's into left center, but very playable for O'Leary. So the Yankees are still 1 behind with 3 outs of life left to them. O'Leary coming up. Boston 5, the Yankees 4.
Think something that small can't hurt your car? Even smaller carbon deposits can clog your car's fuel injectors. So use Gum Out Extra Fuel Injector Cleaner to get rid of deposits for smoother overall performance. And did I mention better acceleration?
Drive your fuel injectors clean with Gum Out Extra.
Change is taking place all over America. Big change. Because now you can call anyone across America for just 8 cents a minute on calls over 10 minutes. All day, every day. Just dial 1010-321, and you can talk as long as you want to the people you care about the most. You don't have to sign up. Just dial 10-10-321, then 1 and the number. It's that simple. 8 cents a minute on calls over 10 minutes, day or night with 10-10-321.
These days, at more and more hotels, breakfast is on the house. What's different about our complimentary breakfast is what you have to go through to get it. Embassy Suites, a design for living.
From Fenway Park, here's the GMC truck game summary. Red Sox 5 runs, 9 hits. The Yanks 4 runs, 7 hits. Early exit for El Duque and a hitless night so far for Derek Jeter. Bret Saberhagen was magnificent. He never went to a 3-ball count on any hitter, and the Red Sox leadoff batters have reached base in every inning of this game. A trend that Ramiro Mendoza is going to try and end right now. And big out here from Tim Wakefield to get Tino Martinez with the possible tying run at third. And then when he got to the dugout, Joe Kerrigan was waiting for him.
Hello, boy. Stay with it.
Half swing roller by O'Leary. Knobloch just in time. So O'Leary is gone on 1 pitch.
Daubach has played an excellent second base tonight. I mean, he turned a couple of double plays with quick releases. He's made all the plays, so
number 18,
maybe he's over his throwing slump because he's made all the plays tonight.
Jefferson.
Reggie Jefferson coming up.
This is not an easy play because you're back deep on on O'Leary, and it's a slow roller to watch. He gets the ball and gets rid of it quickly.
This ball 1 to Reggie Jefferson. Well, maybe it didn't seem as quite a big a deal as it seems like now, but when Mendoza came into the game with runners at first and third, and the Red Sox numbers 3 and 4 hitters up in the 7th inning. Actually, he came in and gave up a base hit for the first one to put first and third, but he struck out Daubach and then got Garcia Parra to hit an inning-ending double play.
But I think you have to give the credit to Joe Torre. He made all the right moves right after Hernandez gave up the 3 runs and he gave up another base hit. He said that's enough after he got behind Veritek, and he brought in Alan Watson to get Veritek out. Watson did his job, then he fell behind, and he went and got Mendoza. So I think he's made all the right moves as well to keep this game close, to keep the Red Sox from blowing them away.
Because, you know, that's an interesting point, because Valentin was up in the 7th, and the left-handed batting Daubach was next.
Right.
And I'm sure he wanted Watson in there through Daubach.
Right.
And then bring in Mendoza for Garcia Parra. That one is into left center field, but Shane Spencer. And that's out number 2. The wind, by the way, is blowing in from left field tonight. Several balls out to left and left center that might have hit off the wall on another night have been knocked down by that wind blowing in from left, which is very unusual for the summertime. But today the weather changed here in the Boston area. They had that hot, humid weather, and in midday today, a new front came in, blowing out some of the humidity. And that wind has not been the friendly Fenway wind that hitters like so much.
And we're thankful for that cooling air coming in.
Man.
But, John, back to Joe Torre, a lot of times, you know, he doesn't get a lot of credit, I don't believe, for a lot of the strategic moves that he does make.
Oh, right back to Mendoza from Veritek. 3 up and 3 down. We're going to the 9th. The Yanks still shy a run. Chili Davis, Jorge Posada, Shane Spencer coming up.
With quickcrete fast-setting concrete, you just pour it in the hole and add water. It sets hard in minutes. After all, why do you think we call it quickcrete?
I don't know if I can do this. It's easy. You just sneak up and push them. They tip right over. Right over? Yeah, I've done it 1,000 times. All right.
Need a new grill?
During Napa's sizzling summer sweepstakes, you can win a classic barrel grill from any of over 6,000 participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Plus, save on hundreds of items. Stop by today.
Where I come from, things are like in the big leagues, full of excitement. Come, enjoy the Dominican Republic. Mi casa es su casa.
Discover Dominican Republic, where it all began.
Top of the ninth inning from Fenway Park. The Red Sox 5, the Yankees 4. There's the picturesque view from high above the fens from the gum-out aerial cam. Coming up after the ball game, Sports Center, and Derek Jeter will be the guest of the Sunday night conversation, and he was asked about the impact of Cal Ripken on shortstopping.
Now, Cal, I think he helped redefine the position in terms of allowing us taller players to play shortstop. You know, shortstop in the past was primarily a defensive position, and you had guys 5'7", 5'8", and then here comes Cal Ripken, 6'4", 6'5", his offensive threat. I think guys like him, Robin Yount, Alan Trammell, Barry Larkin, they made it an offensive position. And I was a big Barry Larkin fan as well. He went to University of Michigan, and me coming from Michigan, I followed him close.
And that whole conversation will be later on SportsCenter. National League East race tightening up, the Braves and the Mets. Keith Van Horn signs a new deal with the New Jersey Nets, and of course the Jeremy Sheff interview with Derek Jeter. Kenny Mayne and Dan Patrick have SportsCenter right after the ball game. Chili Davis leads off now. Joe Torre. Might see Chili become a SportsCenter highlight by doing something dramatic here.
And Chili Davis, following in Bernie Williams' footsteps, he's hitting right-handed against the right-handed throwing knuckleballer Tim Wakefield.
Well, Bernie has had 2 homers in 24 career at-bats against Wakefield. Jorge Posada and Shane Spencer scheduled to follow. We're in the 9th. It's 5-4 Boston. Wakefield gave up 2 in the 8th. It's too high. Chili Davis is hitless tonight. Struck out twice, grounded out once against Saberhagen. Most of the Yankee offense tonight has been from Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams. The 2 of them, 5 hits and 7 at-bats, and all 4 of the RBIs for New York. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, that's what Joe Kerrigan was talking about. Throttle up, throttle down. Throw the knuckleball even though you're not going to throw it past anyone. Throw 175 miles an hour, throw 173, 72, and then just kind of mix your speeds.
Just in case, Jimmy Williams, the Red Sox manager, has his bullpen getting ready. It's a pop foul off to the right, back out of play. In the bullpen for Boston, right-handed Derek Lowe has started to warm up. Paid attendance tonight, 33,553, which is a sellout at Fenway. The 3-game series drew better than 100,000. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chili fouls that one back. I mean, when you see it from the center field camera, I mean, it looks like you're just throwing it right in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like Chili, or all of them, should be just crushing one after the other like batting practice.
But it is tumbling halfway, moving a little bit this way, a little bit that way. And the real good ones will dance a lot and very sharply.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That one is deep into center. Buford is back, jumps up and can't get to it. It's bouncing back toward the infield. Chili Davis, not a very fast runner, stops at second as the left fielder O'Leary finally over to pick it up. So Buford went for the catch all the way, and they were fortunate. Almost any other Yankee runner would have had a triple on that one.
Well, like Bernie Williams, he goes straight away, and this pitch is similar to the one that Bernie Williams hit. This pitch acts like a slider. See, it just goes down and away to the right-handed hitter, and they're both able to extend out over it. And this is a long line drive. You see Buford giving it a try, but that ball's way up on the wall. No chance, and more than that, it was a line drive. He couldn't get back there in time. But as you mentioned, Chili Davis only able to get a double out of it. There's Chad Curtis is pinch running.
And he is a guy who runs real well. So he's the possible tying run. He's at second, nobody out, and Jorge Posada coming up. All right, now you're talking about Joe Torre making the right calls tonight. What's the call here?
Well, I think you have to let him swing. It's very difficult to bunt the knuckleball, first of all. And it's easier to go ahead and pull it, to be honest with you, because of the speed. A left-handed hitter more than likely is going to pull the ball. And you give yourself a chance to drive Chad Curtis in with a base hit. And worst of all, the worst case, you'll pull it to the right side and move him over to third.
Ooh, shot that one foul right past Jose Cardinal, the first base coach. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Torre with Don Zimmer alongside. Checking the numbers. By the way, another thing to keep in mind, you pointed this out when the possible tying run was at third base in the 8th inning, Joe, that the ever-present fear of the wild pitch. Jason Varitek has had 16 passed balls this year. 14 of them when he's been catching for Wakefield. And Curtis thought about it, but Varitek did a pretty good job that time.
He did a great job there to block it and keep it in front of him. And that's the point. A lot of times you see catchers, the ball will bounce in front, they'll try to one-hand it and catch it. He was making sure that he kept that ball out in front of him.
Wakefield has only been charged with 1 wild pitch all year, but Varitek's had 14 pass balls when catching him. Right back to the mound. That holds Curtis. And then Wakefield almost threw it away to first base. Daubach made a nice save there, and Posada really with a wasted at bat.
Well, especially when there's not 2 strikes on you. I mean, you got to make sure you pull the ball. And once you get 2 strikes, then you try to just put the ball in play. But with 1 strike, you've got to make sure that you pull the ball. Even if you miss it, you have to be trying to pull the ball. That's the only place he could have hit a ground ball that would not have helped his team, you know, other than shortstop.
Now Shane Spencer coming up. This is the first time he's ever faced Wakefield. Spencer is 0 for 3 in this game. One of the heroes of the playoffs last year. Had a big series against Texas in the divisional series. A great September. It is 0-1.
And one thing to remember, Ricky Leday has a bad leg. I don't know if he can pinch hit, but he has a bad leg, so hamstring pull. So one of the reasons that he's not in the ball game.
Torre said before the game that he would use him if he had to, but he would prefer not to. Give a little more time to recuperate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Spencer. 5-4 Boston. Now the Red Sox a game behind the Blue Jays in the wild card race in the American League. At the moment, it's because the Jays won today. Toronto was behind 3-0 in the 7th inning. They scored 7 runs in their ball game against Detroit and won 8-5.
They can put some numbers on the board.
Sean Green, they scored 8 today, and Sean Green was finally held without a hit. They got a few other guys, including David Seguin, a former Mariner, who's gone to Toronto. You see the American League East standing. The Jays 5.5 back of the Yanks. And the Red Sox a game back of the Jays in the wild card race. That one is hit to left field. The wind blowing in, remember, and it will be caught on the warning track by O'Leary.
Man, I thought he got that one, but I guess he didn't. I guess he got under it, but it looked like his timing was right and everything looked good on the swing. But that wind blowing in a little bit, not, well, I don't know how hard it's blowing down the line, but you can see what it's blowing in left center field, like it's blowing in.
And 1 million New Englanders had a flash of Bucky Dent. Bad karma there for a moment.
Well, everyone that's been hit hard or if they've had good swings on is act like a little slider. And that one was like a little slider. And Torre thought he got it too. I'm telling you, they thought he got it. I definitely thought he did.
So that leaves it to Scott Brocious. He has had 3 home runs in 22 career at-bats against Wakefield. And just a base hit will do it for the Yankees here.
One thing you notice that Scott Brocious has widened his stance a little bit, which I think is important. The other thing I think you do on a knuckleball pitcher is move towards it. That takes a little bit of the break out of the ball, gives it less time to dance on you.
2-0. Chuck Knobloch is on deck.
Well, what do you do now? If you're Wakefield, you definitely do not want to throw a fastball to Brocious. He's one of the best fastball hitters in the game. But you're 2-0. What do? I think you have to throw him another knuckleball.
And the knuckler missed 3-0. And he represents the possible go-ahead run. There's the possible tying run. Chad Curtis still out there at second base.
So what do you do if you're Joe Torre? Do you let him take a shot at a fastball if he gets it?
That one is a strike. Now, had Posada been able to get Curtis to third base, Curtis would easily have scored on that fly ball to Spencer, or the fly ball by Spencer to O'Leary in left. 3-1. 2-0. So the second walk allowed by Wakefield. Man, he has been had a tortured 2 innings here. 51 pitches he's thrown.
Well, it's tough to. I don't care what anybody says. It's tough to be a knuckleball closer. I mean, he's done a great job, but it's tough to do that on a consistent basis. You're going to have some rough nights.
Kerrigan out to chat with him as Knobloch gets ready to bat. Next Sunday, we're going from Fenway Park to Wrigley Field, and we'll see the Houston Astros, Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio and company, and the Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa, Mark Grace and the Cubs. That's 8 Eastern, 7 Wrigley Field time, 5 Pacific. Next Sunday, Cubs and Astros. The Astros have the best record in the National League.
Well, will it be that way next Sunday? We'll see.
Yeah. And they're getting pressed by Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Jim Bowden made a nice pickup at the trading deadline. Well, here's Chuck Knobloch now. 1 for 3 with a walk. Wide of third. In the hole. The long throw by Garciaparra. Too late. But for the moment, he has saved the lead.
That was a tough play that he tried to make. In fact, someone should have yelled for him to hold the ball, because all he could do there is throw it away. He wasn't going to get Knobloch on the play. But he did a good job of keeping the ball on the infield. There's another ball that acts like a slider, and they're able to hit that. You see the dive by Valentin. Garciaparra picks it up, and the long throw, but you'll see Knobloch well across the bag. No chance. But a great job by Garciaparra to keep that ball from going into the outfield. And that's just too tough a throw with a speedy runner.
So Jeter gets another shot at it with the bases loaded. A ball. That one knuckled in there almost like a curveball.
Yeah, well, that's the ones that have been hit. The ones that are just coming in and diving across are going across the plate like a slider.
Well, he struck Jeter out on the 13th pitch to him in the 8th inning. But Jeter is 7 for 19 against him lifetime with 2 homers. It is 2-0. Now your question is there again, Joe.
Yeah.
Do you throw the fastball? Now the stakes are a little higher.
Well, the stakes are definitely higher. I think you have to throw the fastball here. You don't throw it in the middle of the plate, but you have to try to throw. You have to get a strike. You're not going to be able to get out of this if you're walking or get behind 3-0. Knuckleball.
Right to the second baseman. And they get the force out on Knobloch with Garciaparra covering. Offerman, instead of just throwing over to first base, went to Garciaparra and was just in time to get the hustling Knobloch. The Red Sox just do hang on. Jeter goes 0 for 5 for the second game in a row, and the Red Sox take the series 2 out of 3 in the same week where they took 2 in a row from the Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox are still very much alive in postseason thinking.
Well, they take the tough way. If you're the second baseman, this is an easy play. Field it, pick it up, throw to first base. But you can see a close play at second base, and you're lucky that Garciaparra came over to help you, and you see the reaction of